Those sounds. Oh yeah. This always helps with the nerves. Oh, you
Okay,
can hear
so
me. Oh, you
but you can hear
haven't.
me now as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Nice.
And I'm audible as well now, I think. Okay, so there you go. So as I was saying, then I dropped some salt on the floor, and the matches were already lit, and so it formed a triangle, and it summoned a small demon uh, in the end. But I could just step on it, so there was just a splash. But now I'm just worried that the mark will never leave, and evil is part of my home. Yeah.
You
So
mean more evil
more
has
evil,
become
yeah.
part of your.
So it's
Yeah.
getting more evil every time, and that's what's really bothering me. This is all in reply to Shank's. He was just telling us that the demon invaded his home and really tore out part of the walls and stuff. And so I had to come up with my own story. And although mine was kind of fantastic and his was real, I still thought that I should try to you know, have a better story than him. Right,
Yeah.
Shanks?
Well, I mean, at least you're not married to yours.
Oh.
Vic's always stomping around, tearing out walls.
Oh yeah, true. Oh man.
Shots fired. Yeah.
Yeah. Now there are some emoticons in the chat, so there we go. I am the Kool-Aid woman. Yeah. So, welcome to the stream.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, Talking Void. We return after 4 weeks because of things. And we have with us Shanks, which is really great because we all love Shanks. We all love Top Down Tabletop and stuff. Right, Roger? You love them as well,
Yeah,
right?
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, of
so
course,
yeah,
of course.
of course you do, and so I'm very glad that he's on our show. We've seen him much too often these past few weeks, and we could have seen him yesterday, but luckily Michel was ill, so we didn't have to put up with him on the Monday evening. But still, yeah, it would have been great anyway. You know? So these are the shenanigans that I was talking about, Shanks.
I understand now, yes.
Yeah. So
If you want to roll your eyes, that's fine. We all do it.
I don't want to risk them getting stuck that way. For
Yeah,
the whole
okay,
stream,
yeah.
So
wrong my eyes.
That's your
wrong-
head. That's,
Oh, that's my head. Yeah.
yeah.
This
Yeah,
better?
that's
I
you
wanted to watch my own eyes, which made my head roll. So that's funny as well, I think. So socials, we have socials. They're on the exclamation mark socials, and you can find them all under the link tree, which is in the socials and is also on the screen. And then we love to have you follow us on every kind of our socials. And you're here on Twitch, so please give us a follow. Probably give us a subscription, but that's only if you like what I'm saying, and that might be a problem. Yeah, we'll see about that, right? Then the other thing is Top Down Tabletop has socials as well. I hope somebody can put them in chat because I didn't put them on the screen. I just realized, but which is just, okay. So I made a whole new display, and it's a bit. It has been a bit chaotic, which is nothing new. But you know, that's why this all looks very fancy and stuff. But there's some things missing, and I just realized that now. But Top Down Tabletop, memorize that one, put it in chat, link to it, follow them on every of their link tree kind of thingies, and support them because they are great. So I was actually lying. It's good to see Shanks everywhere, and just go to their channels and you'll see him everywhere as well. So that's cool.
Yeah, and he's one of our most frequent guests, I think, right?
I'd say probably.
Yeah. I mean, it's
I keep kind of weaseling my way in somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how he does it. Must be. I have got a couple of questions about that later on, so I think we might get some answers about who he really is and stuff.
He's been alluding to these
personal.
serious
very
questions.
Personal. It's very
all
serious
day.
questions. Yeah. There we go. So those are socials. Then next Monday there will be another Precipice of Dreams. episode at 8:30 Central European Time. We had the browse last time. The Dungeon Master didn't prepare the cave we were going in, so we'll start there. Next session. Right, Jose?
Well, no, yeah, there's a fight outside of the cave, and I did prepare that fight, but it was like 10 minutes before the end of stream, and I didn't want to start a fight at the end of stream. Like, do a half a round and then just quit.
Oh. Yeah, okay. So, and anyway, we had a great session, and we had something new that we did on the end of the stream, which was pretty cool. We were doing the meta stuff, which I really like. What the hell is happening? Those kind of questions. And just as we were sitting in a living room somewhere in Dordrecht, which is our hometown, and just talking about Dungeons and Dragons last session and making plans for the new one, we did that on stream, so I hope you liked it as well.
As a DM, I like that stuff a lot. Like, just sit back and listen to what the players come up with from my brain farts.
You have farts in your brain? That explains a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, I like it as well, and that is why I have this talk show called Talking Void, because there we kind of like to talk about Dungeons and Dragons as if we were in somebody's living room. I'm actually in my living room. You're in your living room. You are in your...
I'm in a dungeon. I don't know.
You're in a dungeon, so that's cool. And that makes for a great conversation about Dungeons and Dragons when you're in the dungeon. Anyway, we are going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons as if we were together in one room, and that's what these kind of free screens you see in front of you try to reflect. They try to reflect that part of real life, so to say. So for all those kids who don't know what this is about, now you do. It's okay. I'm making it more complicated than I should, which is okay.
I'm starting to understand what I mean by Jasper monologues, by the way.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, did you want to say something, Shanks?
No, we're fine. Just go on.
You keep going. You're doing great.
Let's go into the intro. Oh, that's so funny. So we're back. No, wait. I should do a 1, 2, 3. We're back. I learned this from Vix during the show, and I was kind of wondering, is she going to count to 5 or 10 or something? I don't know. But we were live at 3, so that was cool.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. It does. But is it
I
on
usually
3
try
or
to go
after
live
3?
Just when you're singing or something. But,
Yeah, that's true. I like to sing. I've got a beautiful voice, I think. I don't know.
You
People
have a
always try to
fantastic voice.
I have?
You have a fantastic voice. I'd love to hear you sing.
Ah, thank you so much. Finally, the Canadians know best, you know.
And in case you're wondering, this is how I keep getting on their stream.
yeah, exactly.
That's very start. That's question 3. Okay. So on this show, we're first going to talk about this sir that has joined us, Mr. Shanks, and top-down tabletop in a way. Then I'm going to ask him some questions, some very personal questions, which he's not prepared for, but I have prepared them, and I'm building up the suspense, so to say. Then after that, we're going into the main topic, which for this evening will be Dungeon Master styles and why. No. What is your Dungeon Master style? And why is it your Dungeon Master style, so to say? Which might be... I thought it would have been a hard question to answer, but we've got like 130 answers around that number. And there were a lot of different kind of answers, so I had a bit of difficulty controlling the narrative, so to say. But I think I did an okay job. I hope you think so too. And yeah. Here I go.
We'll decide afterwards, I guess. We'll decide afterwards.
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah. Chat is going boom, 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 which is cool. What's your dungeon master style? Yeah, dungeon. It's white bricks, I think, in Shanks' case. Yeah.
It's what?
White bricks.
White bricks.
White breaks?
Bricks.
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 Bricks?
Like the bricks behind you. You're in a
Ah,
dungeon.
that is, yes.
It's always funny when you have to explain jokes. Makes it so much better.
So, to really dive into the show, welcome Shanks. Welcome to the show. We're getting all serious now. So, tell us a little bit about. Well, let's start with let's talk top-down tabletop.
All right. Well, top-down tabletop is something that we, as a group of friends, were talking about starting for a long time. We officially launched back in January. We stream D&D every Saturday, and we do some other things, kind of like what you guys do. We talk about DMing, we talk about characters and stories from our games over the years, all sorts of stuff. But we really try to make sure that we're playing D&D frequently, you know. Um, our main flagship campaign has been Wizards of Zakaria because I, as a DM, like really challenging people. And so I was like, what if we did a campaign where you're all wizards? Um, which, as we know, it has a lot of dichotomy to it. Like wizards eventually get very powerful, but they start out very squishy. And so everyone was afraid of dying in the first few sessions. And only Vix almost did a couple of times. But you know, they've made it through and they're level 5 now, and you know, things are rolling, and we've got a couple other side campaigns we're doing, and I don't know, just this whole top-down tabletop thing has been a whirlwind of meeting incredible people like you guys and so many others in the community, and just, you know, getting to share how much fun we have with D&D with you know, the world at large.
So, is that what sparked your the idea to do this sharing, or what was your first idea when you started this?
Um, yeah, I think we were just because we had to shift to playing online during COVID. I guess we just decided, hey, you know what? We're already doing this. Like basically, we're streaming already. What if we just invited a community in to join us and enjoy what we do?
Yeah, but then it starts growing,
Yeah,
and then it becomes
that's the
the
nuts
other
thing.
job.
It is, but you know what? I've been really stressed out about like work and life and everything a lot lately. But every time I sit down to prepare for D&D, all of that melts away because I absolutely love what we're doing here. And even though the time commitment is sometimes hard to squeeze in, I always appreciate the time that I do spend on it.
Good answer. I think we have the same
Yeah.
experience, right, Roger?
Well, yeah, somewhat, because we started before COVID, actually, or we were planning this before COVID, and then COVID happened, and we had all the gear set up to just have our regular tables be online as well. But yeah, we started much the same way, just a group of friends wanting to. It started with Michel. He wanted to play D&D again, and he wanted to do that online because he lives in a faraway country called Belgium. And
60 kilometers, people. 60
yeah,
kilometers.
but
That's like a 20-minute drive for me.
Well, then you're driving really fast, though.
Something you got to learn about me.
Oh, it's another question on my list. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
but Jasper and I had a idea for a long time that we wanted to stream at some point, and yeah, so we thought, why not use this and do this,
Yeah.
and then this happened,
Yeah. That's the
and
truth.
we're almost a year in now. No, we are
We're over a year
now,
in.
right?
We've
Yeah.
had our first year anniversary a while back. You remember?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, but there's difference where we went to sign in our company, so to say,
Oh yeah, that's true.
and
We did that in November. So we are Void Walkers, which is the company behind the Voidcast. I think the first week of November we signed and made it a kind of small company. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
But we did that for a couple of things. First off, so we could produce more products besides the streaming stuff. and kind of
None of which are there yet. So
no license some names and stuff. And but this has been the main thing because instead of it getting easier during COVID, it got quite a bit more busy all of a sudden. Is that your experience as well, Shanks?
Yeah, yeah, it adds a lot to your life. Things that you never even thought of. Um, and most of it's really good. For example, I spend a lot of time on Discord nowadays, and I never used to. Um, but it's been really cool just being part of this community at large. And like, I mean, you guys know, like, it's not just like top down tabletop. Voidcast and Careful Cantrip, Hops and Drags. Like, there's a lot of groups that are like really connected.
Yeah.
And we're showing a lot of support to each other. We're in each other's communities. We're in each other's lives. Like, it's crazy, but
yeah,
it's a big time commitment.
yeah, but that could have gone very differently, right? I mean, we could have seen each other as competitors, but instead we instantly embraced all of each other. It's actually pretty great. Goes to show
Yeah,
what the D&D community is all about. Just sharing stuff with each other and just having a good time doing the things we love.
absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure at some point we've all experienced the negative sides of a D&D community. And it's really cool just to see that there's so many of us out there who are very much positive and encouraging and caring for one another. It's been a real eye opener for me.
Yeah. So what were you doing with Dungeons and Dragons before you were doing top down tabletop with the
Well,
others, of course?
we were
Uh,
just playing our regular campaigns amongst ourselves. And I DM'd a couple of campaigns that we have that we had going. One of them is completely closed out now. And Vix was DMing a couple as well. And we even had some games that we were running like on an app on our phones, like a text-based one. So kind of like whenever you've got a minute, you can just hop in and like do your next post of your next action or whatever. And that this
That's
this
kind of
is
cool.
how obsessive we are.
yeah.
we
Yeah,
have
yeah,
like 5 campaigns on the go, and it's like, not good enough. I want to play all day every day. So
Yeah.
we open up this app and
Well, when I moved to Breda, which is 30 kilometers from Dordrecht, I which was pre-telephone stuff, like the early 2000s, not pre-telephone, but pre-smartphone, so to say. We did a lot of airpole.net, text-based
yeah.
Arpol,
Online.
roleplay online. Yeah, a lot of games there with and one over 9,000 posts, I think. So that was a big one.
Wow.
And we enjoyed that really well. So when we couldn't get together as often as we did before, we just did some games there. Some of them lasted, and some of them fell away pretty quickly again. But yeah,
Did we ever finish one of those games? I don't
no,
think we did.
no,
Right?
no.
I started my still going campaign there though. I
Yeah.
had like these private story threads for everyone, and we could just do that while the other campaign was still finishing off.
Kind of a session zero, prolonged
Yeah,
session
so-
zero,
yeah.
written down. Yeah. So what are your? So you've got Wizards of Zakaria. I always want to say,
Yeah, Zakaria.
Zakaria. Yeah, so that's the Dutch coming through. I think the Dutch is always coming through. By the
That's
way.
all right. Your pronunciation is fine.
Thank you, thank you. You all also complimented me on my beautiful voice. So we're now we're on a home run. I think, Shanks.
I
I'll
think
see
he
you
can
next
come
week
back
then.
next time though. Right?
Going for that permanent slot.
Yeah.
Let's expand our universe. Now I forgot what I was going to
Sorry.
ask you.
I have
No,
no
I
effect.
don't care. So you have that one going. What is your vision about how many games, permanent games or long-running games you want to run on your channel, or about
I guess
shows in the broadest sense? Huh.
I guess it depends on how far down the line we're looking. My dream is to be doing a D&D stream like 6 days a week every week.
Hmm.
So that I could, I could do this full time. Whether that means a game every of those days, maybe not. You know, but I would love to have D&D content coming out of Top Down Tabletop like all week. Um, I love this game. I love this community. I love all the options it allows. And I mean, not just D&D either. D&D is sort of our home base, but we play a lot of different tabletop RPGs. Um, and to be able to do that full time would be my absolute like long-term dream goal.
Yeah.
Uh, but in terms of like a realistic future, I think a second game night a week is probably possible.
Hmm. Yeah. I've been thinking that as well. How will we expand in the future? I don't think you have to really start looking uh, um, outside of the group that you are. I think because you have to grow with the number of people as well. I think you can't keep up when you're doing this 6 evenings a week with all kinds of groups that have 5 players in them or something. Can't be all the same
Yeah.
people. Uh,
Yeah, you need to mix it up a little bit. And we are sort of hoping to find some people who are a good fit in the near future to bolster our ranks a little bit.
yeah, cool. Um, so that's a lot about top-down tabletop. I already asked you a question about what did you do before you went to do top-down tabletop. So let's talk a bit more about role-playing games in general. When did you start, and how did you start, and what's the story behind that?
Okay, so the first time I played D&D, I was in grade 10. So I think where does that put me? About 15
Hmm.
years old, give or take. Um, I was it was shortly after the Dungeons and Dragons movie came out.
Oh, yeah,
Um, I didn't really know anything about it, but I had seen the movie, and and I mean we all know that movie's a bit of a mess.
yeah, it
Uh,
is.
and somebody in the class was like bad mouthing it, but they picked on like the detail about like the blades glowing and stuff, and I was like, well, because I read a lot of fantasy novels and stuff, and I was like, well, in some lore, like rune blades are known to glow when they're near each other and that sort of thing. And this guy next to me in the class who we called Mortgage because he just looked so much older than everyone else that we made a joke that he like has a wife and a mortgage and
Wow.
um he was just like, "Oh, so do you play D&D?" I'm like, "No, I don't even like I don't know anything about it." He's like, "All right, come to my house on Saturday." And like that was it. And he was just inviting me over and so we played D&D. I played D&D with his group for a couple of months or so and then kind of life just changed and um, I didn't play for a really long time after that. Moved on to a new school and everything. Um, and so about 10 years after that, I was like, man, I want D&D back in my life. That game was just the best. And so I started like looking for online communities to play with and I actually found a group in a local comic shop and played with them for a little while. And then I was like, you know what? To heck with this. I'm buying the starter set and I'm going to force my friends to play. And like Vix was like, I don't know, it's all this acting and stuff, and I'm nervous and shy, and I don't want to have to do all that. It's too much pressure. I'm like, just try it out, and I think you'll like it. And like the things you're not good at, you'll get better at. Like, don't worry about it. There's no pressure. It's just us and our friends. And so I think my plan worked, because
Yeah,
not only
well,
is
right now it's not just you and your friends anymore.
right, exactly.
Yes.
And not only is she now an amazing player, she's an amazing DM. And we've built top-down tabletop out of all of this. And so yeah, no, it's been an interesting ride, and I kind of regret having 10 years where I wasn't playing the game, but uh we kind of we hit the ground running when we did start playing, and it I just absolutely love it.
Great story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why it is. Well, I maybe I do know, but when a game such as Dungeons and Dragons captivates your whole group of friends, it's really something special. I mean, those evenings spent where you can discuss what just happened in as if it was real. You know, okay, you can talk about soccer, I guess, because that is real. But that is real, and but this stuff really happens in your mind and gets its own space and its own
Yeah,
imagery and
but it's
everything.
also the pronouns when you talk about it's the example. Michel said that multiple times that when we played for an evening, then he came home and he told his wife, "Hey, I did that and I did this and
Yeah,
it's just right? It's you experienced that. It's not
yeah,
something. It's not a movie you watched or anything. It's
yeah.
you have an active role to play, and that makes it addictive.
Yeah. So
Because it is.
how large is your home group then, or are your home groups?
My group,
Yeah.
my group was the top-down tabletop group.
Okay. Yeah.
That was it. Like that's like we had to go online because of COVID, and we were just like, let's
Yeah.
stream this, see what happens.
And you did 5 different games with that group.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, different DMs, different settings, lots of different stuff going on. I had at one point 3 different campaigns I was running, all within the same universe, and I would be like hinting at things happening behind the scenes for other groups as we go.
Yeah.
Sometimes they pick up on it, sometimes they wouldn't, and both ways it's entertaining for me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Alluding to other stuff that's happening. Asks for a bit of consistency between stuff as well. Same thing.
Mhm.
Definitely.
Well, that brings me to my first question, really, to you, Shanks.
Oh, this wasn't it.
No,
That wasn't it. Yeah.
the first true question is: so
Only
you
said so much.
DM and play in the
Yes.
same game.
Yes. Yes.
How did that come about?
Well, we're a very small group. So, we've it's been very rare that we've had more than like 4 players at the table total. And so it is hard to round out a party that way. It can be done, but especially when we first started, our players were pretty new. I wanted to play the game as much as I wanted to run a game. And so we had this conversation of like, if I can properly compartmentalize and like, play properly as a player and run properly as a DM, are we all comfortable with that? And we all were. And there wasn't any problems. The only issue that I really have with it at all is that I tend to hold my characters back a little bit more, because I want to make sure that I'm not giving unfair advantage to my character. So I don't really
Wait,
unleash.
I'm not sure I understand. How is this different from an NPC then? It's just like a more fleshed out NPC, or
I mean, essentially, we call it a DMPC, where it is. I built my character the same as everyone else. They're going through the same exact rules, the same trials and tribulations. I separate DM knowledge from character knowledge, so they never have something that they're not supposed to have or know something they're not supposed to know. But like I do hold back because it's like if if they're trying to figure something out, obviously I actually know the answer.
yeah,
So like my character can't really be the one to figure it out unless we get to a point where it's like they're not going to get it. And then I kind of have to give them something. I can drop a hint as a DM, or I might have my character find something. But a lot of time I do like rolling behind the screen, like very subtle rolls. Like would my character notice something that they haven't noticed yet if they all roll and like haven't found anything. Um, but it's a bit of a balancing act. But we like adventuring together, and so even though we don't even though we don't have like a DM who's aside from us, we still like the way that we play. And I know that doing a DMPC is sometimes abused. I've heard all sorts of horror stories, in that negative side of D&D, where it's like the DM's character is always the hero and always accomplishing all the cool stuff, and everyone else is kind of spectator.
Yeah.
We don't do that. And we would, if any of us did that, we'd call each other out on it immediately.
Yeah.
But we're a tight knit group, and we're close, and we can speak the truth to each other. And
So instead of that, you give Vix everything, right?
you can ask her that. She went to pick up our kids, but when she comes back, you ask her that question,
Yeah.
and I assure you,
Yeah,
I know the
understand.
answer already.
Yeah. trying to be funny again. So the whole mental thing, conversation developed in the chat about soccer, playing soccer in your mind, which should be less exerting. Then why don't you just play a video game? Is what Fellering says, and then Mireneo says that's also possible, but where would your friends come in? Which is a good retort, I think. Can't multiple people play roles in the same soccer video game? So you see, soccer can also be Dungeons and Dragons.
But can you RP in a soccer game?
I think so. I can say.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of them do, right? As soon as you get within 8 feet of them, they all drop to the ground and pretend that they're hurt.
That's
true as
that's another form of acting.
They're very good at it. They do these deception checks all the time. They're all high charisma, high dexterity characters, and low insight. I think because they don't notice, or at least some of them have low insight and do not see that they are totally being deceived by all these broken ankles that suddenly heal after a minute. Yeah. Oh, our love for soccer is how do you say this? I was going to say something like very big, but I think it's non-existent, at least for me.
Yeah,
sorry,
never
chat.
catch me at a soccer game.
Yeah, sorry, chat, for all the soccer fans who are now leaving Talking Void because they've got other things to do.
I mean, my philosophy is I'd rather spend like 4 hours playing, thinking about preparing for D&D rather than watching a bunch of guys kick some rubber around, but that's just me.
Same.
No, not just you.
No, not just you. Yeah, right. Welcome to the chat, Heaven Place. There's some activity there. Just keep the questions coming. And I did see Erik's question, but I think that fits in at another moment in the show, so I'll come back to that one. So the second question I have for you. I hear you scare easily.
That's actually not
That's
true.
not a question, though.
That's not a question either.
Oh, can you confirm or deny?
I deny that categorically. So Vix absolutely loves this clip she made of me on one of my first streams of what we're now calling Ice Cream Sunday.
Yeah.
So I started streaming on my own channel, DM Shanks, on Twitch, and one of the people from Careful Cantrip said that she kept missing my streams. She wished that I would stream like on a time when she was available. And I'm like, when are you available? She's like, Sunday night. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I got Alien Isolation, which is a pretty scary game, but it's an amazingly well crafted game. And I was like, well, if I stream this on a Sunday night, I could call it like I Scream Sunday, and that's like a great pun, and I'm all about puns. So, so I started streaming that, and that game is so well crafted. The atmosphere, the visuals, the even the slow build and the tension, like it's a masterpiece, much like the movies. And yeah, it's gotten me to scream a few times.
So there you go.
More than a few. But I wouldn't say I do easily. There's a clip though of me saying, see, Vix edited the clip. So you need to understand, if you watch the clip, it cuts out the part where I say, contrary to like what you're seeing here, in real life, I'm a person who just doesn't get scared. You know what I mean? And but she cut out the in real life stuff where it's just like, I don't get scared ever, and like I'm super reliable, and so on and so forth, and then the freaking alien drops down and I scream like a girl.
Just how it should be. Here Stefan says, no way, Shanks loves puns, mind blown.
Yeah, I'm getting a bit of a reputation for that.
Yeah, I think so too.
But so it's become a thing, and now every Sunday night I stream like some sort of scary game, and some of them make me scream and some of them don't.
Yeah. So you don't scare easily, you're just playing very scary games.
I guess what it is that a video game is different from real life, right? Like they're in control of everything. So like it takes away your autonomy, and it forces you into these situations where you're gonna be surprised by like whatever they've set up for you. And it's just so different from real life that you get sucked into it, and you're trapped because you have no options there's only so many buttons you have to press.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I scream like a little girl when they surprise me.
I do the same. I recently played Doom again, the newest Doom game.
Oh yeah.
And just after one level, I was so stressed out because of all the scare jumps and everything that was happening.
Right.
That I just had to leave it alone again, which is a pity because I really like that style. But yeah, the connection with what games make you feel always amazes me, and that's why I love the emotional ones as well, where you just have to cry at the end. I'm more a crier than somebody who,
That screamer. Yeah.
than a screamer. Yeah.
there is one game that made me cry, and this might isolate me a little bit, but I don't know if any of you have ever played through the Metal Gear Solid series.
Yeah.
But the end of Metal Gear Solid 4 just broke my heart. Like,
Not sure I finished that, so I don't know.
okay, I won't give it away then. You should,
Yeah.
you should go finish it.
Yeah. I actually watched Day 9 TV play To the Moon, which is this top-down fantasy, a Secret of Mana style kind of game. And at the end, I was crying. And he was crying as well as he was playing it. But I like to watch other people play games. It makes me have to do less of the work and still get the emotions from the game if it's done properly.
Right.
Oh, okay. Goodbye. Okay, so that was a question. Then the other one is, I've heard you looked pretty good as a vampire.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Why are these the questions?
Because I'm building up to something.
Or rather, why are these the statements that are being posed as questions?
I missed
this
it,
true?
What was it?
That he
heard
looks
I look
really
good as a vampire.
Yeah. I'm building up to something. They are getting more and more like,
Yep.
yeah.
So it
what's-
actually started pre-vampire. It started out with my character for Fortune and Favors, which is one of our side campaigns that we're streaming, where Vix is the DM. And I'm playing a sorcerer warlock from the Shadowfell. And so he's supposed to be like on the surface, like appears to be like this really emo, really edgy kind of guy, all like dark scale mail and like black magic and everything. And so I had Kaz the DM do a portrait of him for me. And he did it, and when he was doing it, he's like, "Oh, it'd be really great is if we could like throw in some eye makeup or something." And I'm like, "Yeah, actually, that'd be really cool. Give him some eyeliner or something. That'd be awesome." And so when that conversation grew into like talking about it over the finished product of the picture, I don't remember who threw the first stone, so to speak, but somebody recommended that I do the makeup for the stream. And I was like, I don't know about that. Like, I haven't worn makeup since I was in theater and stuff. Like, I don't really know what I'm doing. And I never did my own makeup either. I always one of the benefits of being in theater as a young man is you have very attractive young women doing makeup for you. And so I never really did it, and I was like, I don't know about all this. And so when I was getting going on my DM Shanks streams, or once I got an affiliate rather, they said, what if we made it a community reward? And I was like, oh, okay. If we make it a community reward, then yeah, maybe. So I set it to 20,000 points, and I'll do a makeup tutorial stream before Fortune and Favors and actually like wear the makeup for the stream. We hit it in the first day.
Yeah, I was about to say 20,000 is not enough.
Well, I mean, I had just started. I had a small audience and like I just got going, but then everyone gave all their points to it all day, and so we immediately had to do it. And so I did a makeup tutorial stream where I gave a lot of really bad advice while applying makeup.
Yeah. So that was my fourth question, really. You love doing makeup.
it's
Which
become a
is
bit of a
again is
thing.
not a question, but it's a conversation starter. Let's put it that way. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's really funny that every time there's kind of a stream that you're involved in and the Voidcast, that we kind of make a pun out of that.
Yeah.
So I thought I should incorporate it into this show at least.
Well, fortunately, the makeup that I had purchased and gotten used to using for Bray was very suitable for a vampire,
Yeah.
because it's basically just the white cover up and then black eyeliner.
Hmm.
So I had what I needed, and I thought, I guess I may as well, since. And I want to be clear to anyone else who doesn't realize this. I popped into their stream into the Discord video chat before we went live. 4 grown men sitting there doing makeup together.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
That's what life is about. Um, so
It is.
there's a question in chat. It is, what is your opinion on birds, and if you have one, what is your favorite bird?
I know what he wants me to say.
I have no idea actually.
He's hoping I'll talk about the cockatrices.
Oh, let's no.
Yeah.
That will. So my next question is, I hear you like cocks. Is this true? And if so, why?
Okay. All right. So we did a one shot recently, yes?
I had to put it in, man. I don't
I
know.
know. I know.
It has been the most silly one shot I've ever done. And when we started, I really wanted to be kind of in control of the situation. And as soon as I heard cockatrices, I thought, well, this is going south. And then it kind of seemed stable for about 5 minutes, and then after that, how do you come up with cockatrices in a one shot?
They were originally going to be mutant turkeys.
Just
So
call
it,
them that next time.
well, okay, so you need to understand some things. This was originally being planned as a Thanksgiving weekend special one shot, because it was Canadian Thanksgiving last weekend, and so that was the plan, was like, turkeys and cranberries and, like, harvest festival and all that stuff. So what you don't realize is that the week before, on the Wednesday before the previous Saturday, I had found out that our plans for Saturday needed to be suddenly changed. And so Wednesday night, I reached out to my good friend DM Dave at Careful Cantrip, and I said, "Hey, I have no players for Saturday, and I don't want to not stream, because, one, I love it. Two, I feel like, people subscribe and stuff, people follow us, people support us. When I've already said this week I'm going to stream on Saturday, I want to stream on Saturday if I can. If you can't, it's different. Like, if there's a health reason or something,
Hmm.
but I was like, I can do this, so I'm going to. So I asked Dave, like, what can you do for me? Can you get me some players? He responds, we talked back and forth, but within 20 minutes, he's like, I've got 4 players for you. And so it was him and Holson from Legends Velos, and then 2 of Dave's players from Careful Cantrip, Reyna and Jess. And by the next morning, before I was even ready to make maps or make the encounters or anything, Dave and Holson send me their character concepts. So Dave was Sir William Titanus, paladin, and his squire was Holson, the fattest cog ever. And so right away I knew what kind of game I was running on Saturday. And I just thought, you know what? To heck with it. Let's just lean into this disaster. And so I made them fight my giant bone snake. And
Yeah, there
and
you
so
go.
it ended up being 3 hours of dick jokes. And it was a blast. It was a lot of fun. And then people kept saying, like, so is the next one shot going to be like this? And I'm like, oh no, do I have to keep doing this? So, but I was like, I don't know, maybe not. I might lean into it a little bit, but I should pull back. And then when I was preparing, I realized that the creatures I had already decided you were fighting are the cockatrices. And I was like, I don't have a choice. The decision's been made for me.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah,
once again, we leaned into it.
I was very surprised that they didn't make us go stiff. Because they kind of have a petrifying gaze normally, right?
For yourself.
What?
Oh, they made me go stiff.
Yeah. We have to be
I
serious
do.
on this channel.
I'm seeing a lot of comments
Yeah.
along the same lines of what I was just saying, that people have expectations, but I'm telling you now, I have another one shot this Saturday. I am not leaning into it this time. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah.
Uh, there will be the usual brand of Shanks humor, but I will not be heavily leaning into a 3-hour dick joke again because I just can't maintain it. It hurts my head by the end of the night. Subscribes. Oh my gosh.
Well, I think there was one kind of serious question in here, which isn't serious at
Oh
all
boy.
at the same time. But your newfound dad, which apparently Michel found his new dad, which is oh, this is so complicated.
Skip this part.
Yeah. The question is, what are your methods for random NPC names when players test the DM with wanting to meet everyone in the metropolitan size city? I think this is a question for all of us in a way.
I used to
well-
have an actual method where I would take some prep time and I would just write down some names I like, male and female, for each of the races that are common in the area. And, and that way, whenever a name is asked that I wasn't expecting, I can just poof, grab one of the names I like from the list. I don't do that anymore.
I still do that. I've done that for years. I've never used it. Ever.
Really?
Like every time people ask me for a name, I just try to just come up with it on the spot and hope they can't make dick jokes.
Yeah.
Which fails every now and then.
Yeah.
Yep.
We all have our biggest digguses and our incontinentia buttocks in our campaigns, I think. But yeah, I make them up on the spot as well. I've never have had a list. I once had this app, and then I saw the names that were randomly generated, and I just didn't like them. So still coming up with them on the spot. But I tend to forget them more than because I do most of my things in my head. And so when you come up with them on the spot,
Yeah, I
it's a bit hard.
usually have to remember to write them down and think, I'll do that after the session, and then I forget, and on the next session, I just hope the players forgot as well. Which is usually the case, because they forget more than I do.
Not mine, unfortunately.
No?
But they remind me all the time, so it works out. I actually planned for them to like meet and talk to somebody and completely forgot to name them because they were just based on a meme that I saw, and I thought it'd be funny just to have them encounter this guy. and then they asked for his name, and I'm like, oh, my name, Fenlin. And now he's their favorite NPC of all time. Talk about him all the time.
Never forget. Yeah.
Stupid meme, made up name on the spot, best NPC ever. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah. That's funny how that happens. Although, I don't know. I have to think of my favorite NPC in your campaign, Roger. And I think it's Shakar, actually. You know, Shokar.
Shokar, the Demon Lord.
Yeah,
So
Demon
this is
Lord.
not Precipice, what he's talking about. It's another campaign.
Yeah, it's another campaign. It's funny how you can stick to one character more than others, you know? The one that... even though he was a demon, he was kind of okay, I think.
Yeah, well, he wanted the same thing, so...
Yeah, that helped some, yeah. Do you have a favorite NPC, Shanks? Can you name one? I'm asking this because as a dungeon master, I think I suddenly realized that when I'm playing, I'm looking at NPCs in a different way as well. But I don't know what I'm getting at.
But when you say, do I have a favorite NPC, like from any campaign that I've been a part of?
Yeah, as a player, yeah.
I mean, there's quite a few, really. I don't mean to, play the my wife's amazing card so often. But almost any NPC she comes up with, I always like, except for one who I hate, and I really, really hate him. But
But that's a good one as well then.
Yeah, exactly. Some
he's meant to be a
NPCs
good
are
guy.
built to
Oh,
be. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I just hate him so much.
Oh, that's our Eric Goldman, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think maybe one of my favorites ever would be this drow ranger or rogue. I can't really remember what she was. But we encountered her and had to fight her. And then when we beat her, uh I was like, oh, Dalaman's awesome too. Oh, I forgot to mention him. Okay, so like I said, every NPC she makes is amazing. But we had to fight her, and then afterwards, my character is sort of in that campaign a bit of a Captain America, in that like he's like everyone can change, everyone deserves a second chance. I don't want to have to kill you. I'd much rather you change your life, kind of guy, and so he gave her a chance to like if you go back to my city, I can guarantee we can get you work, and you can live a better life. And she did, and now she's like his sparring partner. uh so like there's like this lasting relationship, and she's like on part of the town guard now or something. It was really, really cool to have the world affected by just being a good guy, and having this character who, like, she's still very much kind of edgy, but she's like, you know what, yeah, I can use my strength for something positive, and that was really fun to be a part of. But Dalamond is also that character's like father figure, one of his two father figures. uh they're constantly talking about how the other one's getting weak and the other one's getting small. They're both giants basically. So I don't know, it's just really funny father son type stuff.
Yeah, I remember my father from your campaign, Jose, talking
Oh
about
yeah.
assholes.
Yeah, yeah. But he was. Yeah.
I had to free him in my pregame. But it's kind of cool when you meet him later. And I
When
really
you
felt
met
that
him
I was
again, he was insane.
yeah, it was insane,
Driven mad.
but it's funny how you work up to such a point where you're going to meet your father again, and then you really feel anxious about that moment that you do in the game because it's years later in actual life, and you really haven't ever met him, but you keep telling the story of how you fled your kingdom, and because I was a crown prince from that in that country, and because of things that were going south, so to say, and then you actually meet him and you feel this whole anxiety in your chest when you do. I love how Dungeons and Dragons can create such moments, where
Make you feel that kind of stuff. Yeah.
make you feel that kind of stuff. That's why
Absolutely.
I did not like it. But when Eric his character died, that was the first time that I ever experienced that as a player. That emotion that you have when one of your party members dies, and I thought, well, man, this is heavy, and I really liked that I finally got to experience that, even though it was.
It was on your bucket list, for Christ's
Yeah, it
sake.
was from
You
my bucket
wanted one
list.
of us to die, or one of them to die.
Well,
So
no.
yeah,
I wanted to experience that thing. I never want
yeah,
anybody to
yeah,
die. That's a different thing. But
yeah.
yeah. So Chad is saying a lot of stuff about keeping it up for 3 hours, and after 4 hours you have to get a doctor. So that's still
Yep.
about the one shot.
It's concentration spells, right? It's not
Yeah.
not anything.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
True polymorph.
D&D W me. I have a cheat sheet of auto-generated names and remove them after. Then the list of names I've used so far. Yeah, that's cool. Misha says something as well. I was needed. Who just I once needed a name on the spot in the COC game and got laughed at by one of my players who just didn't want to accept that name for some reason. I really thought that was funny as well.
Which name was that?
Yeah, which
it
one
was
it?
like Hendrik. No, what was it again? It was an Italian name, Mario, or something. You met him
Mario?
on the street selling drugs.
It's Mario. Okay.
Yeah, Mario.
Was it-
yeah.
Was it mushrooms though?
I think we know which player it was that was a problem.
Yeah, I think so as well. And
I'm sorry.
your newfound dad has an interesting question. One serious, one not so much. Have you created any magical infused drugs?
Uh,
Not in real life,
no.
in a game. In the game.
No, then no.
In the game, I can tell you about those ones. Police aren't going to show up for that. No, I haven't. I think Vix kind of did. It wasn't even in one of her campaigns, but she was playing a grave cleric who was like using mushrooms. And I don't know what the rules they came up with for those were. All I know is that my character, who was a little bit of a, I don't know what the, like politically correct term would be. He's promiscuous, and in the most severe kind of way. And he took some of these mushrooms or the mushroom tea or whatever it was, and then found a very attractive tree. And so there has been some in our games. I've never personally made any or made rules for them, though it's an interesting concept.
Yeah. So
We had bark, right? Like tree bark.
tree bark.
That,
Yeah.
people smoked.
Yeah. And I talked to you about this just this week, Roger. About in my campaign, I've made schraap, which is the rasping
but that's
of
actually a story device, yeah.
yeah. So there's this this monastery where this demonic entity kind of exploded into big shards of glass that encapsulated the monks that were there. And there's this organization who is moving these monks with shards of glass in their hearts to a place under a big church in the main city. So there's all this corruption playing. But this organization also takes some of this glass and rasps it to fine dust and gives it to people for low prices, and they get addicted easily. But when they go over the top, when they get to that point where they are taking too much, they get demonic possession. So that's one of my homebrew drugs, actually.
Yeah, they're actually snorting ground up demon, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's
That's what they're
slowly
doing.
turning
Yeah.
them into demons. It's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like,
or at least so corrupt that they can't function anymore in society and have to be put into the madhouse. Yeah, and three of my characters have this essence in them as well, and they are pretty afraid of what might happen in the future because they're starting to realize that it's a big plot thing. Yeah, yeah.
Crazy.
So hopefully that's a good answer. Bark.
in my
mushrooms.
campaign, by the way, in the sci-fi campaign, there's been a drug created that gives people magical powers for a temporary.
Wow.
So like non-wizards can actually use it to get powers, and that's causing a whole thing. And they're trying to figure out where it's coming from, but they know some stuff of it.
Curious.
That's one hell of a high, says D&D W me. Yeah, I like that concept as well, Roger, because then it's kind of like it's not like what's that? Yeah, it's like the boys, kind of.
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
No.
Because a lot of criminal organizations use it as a combat enhancer. Like just before they go in, they inject it, and then they suddenly have superpowers and are a force to be reckoned with.
No.
Superpowers, magical powers, but still, the magical powers
Same
are
thing,
superpowers,
really.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're 1 hour in. Shall we go to the main topic? Because that might be a good thing to do at this point.
Makes
Sure.
sense.
Yeah.
Have you asked the questions yet, or
What
were
questions?
these
Yeah, I've
was
asked all the
yeah.
questions.
This was all?
The one about him loving cocks was the last one on my list.
Okay.
And for those who just
So
joined
no
us, he
social
doesn't really
security
like
numbers
cocks.
and
He
stuff,
he might like cocks, but that's not the point. He likes cockatrices very much as a game mechanic, which is a serious thing, people.
Yeah.
How do you like the show so
He's
far,
talking
James?
about male chickens, by the way. Not
Male
anything
chickens, yeah.
It's great. I'm loving it.
Okay, that's good then. Always trying to please our guests by really digging deep into their personal preferences for a certain poultry.
Yes. Just smile and wave.
Oh, not me.
No, not you.
Okay, let's go into the main topic. What is your dungeon master style and why? It's such an easy question, but it's so complicated when you consider the answers. Let's go to the first slide and see what kind of answers have been given. Ben says it's bad.
Bad.
Wow. Okay,
Alrighty then.
Yeah, so I think that's a good answer. Henry says, what is Gothic? I just do improv, which I thought was pretty funny as well, because Gothic might not be a style, but I just did it as a suggestion about what you could mention.
You have to explain this, because we talked about this before the show. But
yeah, okay, yeah, that's true. So I gave a couple of examples. What is your DM style? Bracket, Gothic, improv, strategic, comma, ... so that people could think of ways to answer this question. But then, of course, when you do such a thing and you get like 130 answers, they're all going like, oh, okay, I'm choosing improv a bit and doing a strategic part and add it to that. And then they're going to discuss, well, there are more ways than just this, or improv, you always doing improv. So that's the direction that the story goes.
yeah,
And that's okay, because I like...
a lot of people thought you gave them a multiple choice question.
Yeah.
Actually open-ended. If you
Yeah.
you could have said just for instance, or i.e., or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. But I didn't.
It's
Yeah.
Captain Hindsight.
Captain Hindsight.
And we all know that Jasper finds questions difficult. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. I actually
it's
do.
more like statements usually.
Yeah, that's more like statements. Yeah, it's true.
Well, he didn't say like these are your options for DM style.
They're only really free, and then there aren't. Yeah. So, but
What is this ... style? How do I do that?
Dot.
Is that,
It's like
is
when,
that
when
like
you
Morse code DMing?
it's when you have what is it in English? I don't know. ADHD?
ADHD.
ADHD? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're just skipping around. That's the ... method.
Okay.
Yeah. But I really like the answer bad. It's really short. It came with the brackets or the thingies, quotation marks. Yeah.
It's like he's quoting someone. Like he asked his party, like, "What's my DM style?" Bad.
See you next week.
Yeah. Well, there were a couple of answers that said, "Well, I did it once and then nobody had fun, so I never did it again." Those answers were in there as well, but I thought they were really sad. Yeah, but this could also be like Michael Jackson's bad, Yeah. Who knows? What is Gothic? Well, I thought that was a pretty... I don't know if it's not obvious what Gothic is. But then I thought...
the Gothic DM style.
Watch Fortune and Favors. There you go. There's Gothic for you.
Yeah, so go watch that. Linkety link fix.
I make up in everything.
Yeah. Oh, Michelle is saying it. Bad MJ. Yeah. Yeah, well, I think Gothic is like where you there's a cathedral on every corner, and you feel the power of vampires all around you, and
crows, lots of crows and ravens.
There's a
Black
moon
Hearts.
and stuff. Yeah, it's like, well, the movie The Crow. That's a Gothic movie, I think.
Victorian dresses. And,
yeah, could be. Yeah, Victorian dresses if you go further back in time. Yeah. And so Nova says, I just tell them to RP among themselves and then leave for like an hour.
Works.
Good style. I have to try that sometime.
Aren't you doing that?
What? No. I can. Sometimes I can sit back, but yeah, usually people start asking questions again. It's really annoying.
That reminds me of like the DM. The DM like tip I heard a while back. Like if you're really stuck and you're underprepared for a session, or a completely unlocked door in front of your party and let them argue about it for an hour.
Yeah, definitely. Jasper did that, something like that.
Yeah, for
he
4
gave
sessions.
him, like 2 doors, and with
Oh,
one sign
yeah,
says,
that's
this is the correct one.
did that
And
one.
it took the whole session.
Yeah, it took the whole session. No, it had two doors, one and two lines of text, or one line of text next to it, which said a riddle always has to have an apparent outcome, and the other one was above one of the two doors and said, "This is the real door." And they discussed that for like 3 hours, and they picked the wrong door.
Exactly. That's my point. It's like just throw something super obvious in front of them and they will argue forever.
Yeah. And the thing is, there was a sphere of annihilation behind the door, so it had some consequences as well. Second party kid, yeah. It was funny though. And luckily, the one who stepped through could kind of regenerate out of his own eyes because they were crystal lenses. So there's that.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. I was just
As you
glad
are,
that he
yeah.
was the one who stepped through. Yeah. And then the other one, Scott says Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said a
Been
bunch
there.
of explosive crates marked Acme.
Yeah, well, do you really think that this person meant Looney Tunes or just a very loony adventuring party?
Yeah, of course.
But then you have the meme where you say that my character is called Pink Flower and he's a barbarian or something, you know. And then in the first session you have a laugh about it and you start thinking, but this is a silly thing. Then at session 20 it's all drama when he dies and he is fallen in love and there's all this whole backstory that has developed because of that name and stuff. So you can't keep that up for very long, I think, right?
Yeah, maybe.
At least 3
depends
hours.
on
Oh,
the
we're
group,
talking
I
about.
think.
Never mind.
What? Oh, 3
nothing.
hours. Yeah, well, imagine yourself doing 10 sessions of cockatrices. In the end, the cockatrices will have a personality, right? Or not?
Yeah, no, I couldn't do that. I love getting into a lot of chaos for one shots and stuff, but my
Yeah.
long-term campaigns, although silly jokes do absolutely come out of long-term campaigns, the overall tone is much more serious because we're trying to take these relatively unknown adventures and make them into heroes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
That's we've been talking about this as well for humor in your campaign. I think that we are doing a decent job by doing the laughs in character. Like our characters are actually being funny instead of doing funny things from the meta point of view. Which
It's a bit
for
of both.
it's sometimes it's the meta.
I
point
mean,
of view, yeah.
Bowen is mostly serious, but
Yeah.
he makes me laugh so much.
Yeah, that's what I meant, you know. So it's you have to laugh because of how he is, but it's totally logical that he does the things he does. Where was I going with this?
I don't know. The humor inside the game, in-character humor.
Yeah. So but I couldn't maintain the whole slapstick thing for more than like 3 sessions, I think. Because then
I wouldn't.
I
be
know
able to do it
that's
for 3 sessions either.
Eric's original concept for Gunter and Thomas was a slapstick concept.
that
Like
didn't work out.
Gunter originally, the idea for Gunter was like this fop of a knight, like this bragging knight that used to be the hero, blah blah blah. But he wouldn't do anything but send his squire in for to solve everything, and then walk away with all the glory.
Oh yeah. And what were you going to say, Shanks?
Yeah, sorry.
I was just very offhandedly saying like I couldn't even maintain that for 3 sessions, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think I would find it hard. Like if I look back at that one shot that we just did, or the one before that with Dave, I had an absolute blast. It was a lot of fun. But if I knew next week I had to do another one of those, like actually carrying that story forward, and I had to keep doing it, I would have to shift gears. Like I wouldn't.
No, but that's something that I always say. If I want to do a long, persistent campaign, then in session 0, I tell people this is a serious campaign. There's no joke actors, please. You know, that's I want to yeah. But there's a time and a place, and if it's a one shot and people come up with the most crazy stuff ever, then sure. But if we have to play this game for like years in a row, then
Yeah.
yeah, I couldn't maintain that either.
Like
No.
we at one point I had, because I do like humor in the game. I like the humor in character, and I like the meta humor too. In fact, at one point in Wizards of Zakaria, which I do think is a very serious campaign, um, I threw in a couple of joke NPCs, because I knew they're never gonna come up again. So for
Mm.
one session for 25 minutes, we laughed our asses off because they were at Chalamet Farms talking to Timothy and Jimothy Chalamet. Uh, and it came out of this thing that we do before an episode where instead of being nervous, we'd be like, Timothy Chalamet, shimmy yo, shimmy yay. And and so eventually I was just like, well, obviously this guy has to show up at some point now. And then I gave him a twin brother, Jimothy. And so we had our laughs and then we
Yeah.
moved on, and they will never be heard from again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an okay way to approach it, I think. But I also, uh, because humor is okay and everything, but the thing I dislike the most is when the game is supposed to be serious at a certain point, and you really have to build on the sense of dread or a sense of story or whatever, and
Hmm.
people keep laughing at my table.
Yeah.
That's the thing that bothers me the most, and it happens because
Hmm.
when you have a 9-year-long campaigns, then not every evening will be the same, so to say.
Right.
But
Yeah, sometimes the mood just doesn't line up
yeah,
properly.
it doesn't line up. But I think it's really that bothers me the most. And but that
Yeah.
happens. That doesn't happen that much, luckily.
No, it happened once during that campaign we did with you, like in Breach, and
Yeah,
you just said it at some point from guys, it's
yeah,
serious. Can you please just focus on the game instead
yeah,
of
yeah,
going about making jokes the whole evening?
yeah. And it's. I think it's also a learning point for new players when they take the camera away from the character who's in the spotlight, for example, and
Yeah.
and make fun of it. We actually had a paladin, say Leroy Jenkins, he charged in when the rogue was doing his thing inside, and that really broke that session. Or at
Mhm.
least I saw the face of the player that who played the rogue, and he was really shaken about that that
It took
moment.
away his moment.
It
Yeah,
took
yeah.
away his
Yeah.
moments. Everybody else was laughing because they thought it was funny, but yeah, someone was really disappointed at that point. So
But yeah, I mean, it's fine if some players enjoy that kind of game, then play
yeah,
that
that's
kind of
true as
game.
well. Yeah,
Yeah.
Game is
No,
flexible enough to allow this, It's
exactly. Yeah. There
yeah,
are tables where that's absolutely acceptable, but I agree. Like for me, everyone needs to be able to be fully in character and really
yeah.
do the
But
role see
that's
fit.
also a matter of a DM setting the expectations for the group.
Absolutely.
Like instruct them, tell them what you want to see, and if they don't agree, then find another table, or
Yeah.
uh,
the
I,
other way
I
around, just talk
yeah,
to
I
each other.
actually talked about them afterwards about what happened, and they didn't realize
No,
what
yeah.
had happened. So, but then you have a nice conversation about it, and from that moment they were attentive to the one who's in the spotlight. That was okay. Yeah,
And
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
that's a different story. I mean, more the Looney Times tunes
yeah,
that DMs
that's
yeah,
tell.
yeah, 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 yeah,
very, very different than what we're talking about. But like Michelle made a good point in chat about how there are ways that humor can be brought into even sad moments, and
yeah,
and I think that's true if it's done
yeah,
tastefully.
yeah. That's
Um, and Vix is talking about how her character and mine in Wizards of Zakaria have a prank war going
yeah,
because
Okay.
they're young, they're boys, right? Like they're both, I mean, the equivalent of teenage. Mine's an elf, so he's a lot older. But they're equivalent of teenagers on these like life-threatening missions, and they blow off steam by kind of hassling each other a little bit.
yeah,
Uh, and but the reality is they're there for each other and they have much more serious moments.
yeah. So there's a nice conversation actually going on in chat about this. Indeed, yeah. Um, Michelle is talking about Taika Waititi, did in JoJo, but also the Lego Batman movie used the humor very effectively to magnify some very sad and serious issues. I like that movie actually, and I think you're pretty much right. And Cass, the DM says, I think when a scene is a certain mood, then I respect it and try to keep it for its moment. But as a general overall thing, comedy can add a lot. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
all true. Yeah.
Yeah, but think back, for instance, the when you went into the lair of the hag in the precipice. If you
Mm.
guys had been joking all the whole session, it wouldn't have been the same.
No, it wouldn't have been fun at all. And now it was quite exciting and cool and yeah. But I'm skipping a question by Your Newfound Dad. I just love that name. Do you have suggestions for limiting dead air during gameplay when players have trouble figuring out their actions? Shanks.
I don't really have that problem much, to be honest. Occasionally you get something where, especially with four wizards, because everyone's trying to figure out spells and like tactics and everything, and it's hard. But I've trained my players on tactics a lot because I give them hard encounters. Um, but sometimes, the person you have a plan sorted out, and then the person that goes before you moves into a space that you weren't expecting them to move to, and then it's like I need a new plan now.
Yeah.
Uh, and that happens to all of us. It happens to me all the time, and I'm fair veteran of doing all of this. So uh, what I generally do is if I can tell someone's struggling, or if they even say, because they'll say like oh, I don't know what to do now because of this or anything, um, I might try to narrate some more of what they're seeing and how it's going down to try to help illuminate some of their options, but also to give them a different perspective on it. And it sort of helps them to feel what the character's feeling in the instance. And that usually gets us to the point where they're like, okay, I'm going to do this then.
Yeah. But there's also these, I think, if I follow correctly, that's more like combat related then? Gaps in combat?
Yeah, that
Hmm.
I that's the way I interpreted it, because
Yeah,
my
the
my
word
players,
action was used. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, they were talking about taking an action. In terms of
Oh,
role play,
okay.
I've
Yeah.
literally never had an issue with my characters not role playing. They have never held back at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think of. I don't, or it might also be perception of that gap thing because the players might not even experience it that way. Uh, Although I know that there are players at my table who are waiting for certain things to pass. For
Mm.
example, some of them are more into combat, and then there's this very long conversation with all these things happening that lasts like 20 minutes, and they're just waiting for the conversation to be over. So I think, yeah, okay, it's actions, not RP. So you kind of answered it correctly, I think. Um, um, but that can be an issue for some players who uh, don't like certain aspects of the game. That's,
Yeah, well,
yeah.
and another solution in combat is just to have everyone engage in it. Like when a player says, "Yeah, guys, I don't know what to do," then he isn't specifically talking to me. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the other members of the party then chime in and say, "Hey, yeah, you did that previously. Can you do something like that again?" Or and
Mhm.
they make it a collaborative effort. And I am also known for mechanically heavy combat that relies a lot on tactics, and they have to help each other out and promote cooperation in that way as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, okay, I think that resolves it. There's another cool thing going on in chat about health, healthy relationships at the table.
Mm.
Gus the DM is expanding on that. I think that's it's about letting out the other players know that you're not having fun, or that you find things are too graphic or too disturbing for you or something. And I think that Roger talked about this when you set the expectations for your campaign. You can also set the expectations for the night or every session, really, when you're playing, and just talk about what's bothering you. And maybe you have to take notice of personal things that are happening in someone's life. Although you can also add to that in Dungeons and Dragons. Give it a place in the game.
Yeah.
A couple of new people have joined our chat. Welcome
Cool.
to Ash and Esner. Let's go to the second slide. Wouter says, improv. I stopped prepping, just the long game stuff every now and then. It's so amazing. And Oscar says, improv because I can't handle any more natural ones. So why I put these two together is because I think these are two kinds of improv. One is to negate the rules, and the other is because it negates the prep time in a way. What do you think of these answers? James?
Well, what's wrong with prep time? Oh, sorry.
No.
Oh, you can go ahead. You can go ahead.
Yeah, but prepping sessions can be fun as well, so I don't mind it at all. But I have been known to improv some sessions every now and then because of time constraints or real life getting in the way.
Yeah. So there are some things that I saw in these answers where things got a bit confusing. There are DMs, they say, but Dungeons and Dragons is always improv. And that's kind of true because every conversation is an improvisation. But then prepping and improvising a whole session is something different than doing improvisation when you're acting out a conversation. So there was some confusion there, I think, because one is a DM style and the other is just Dungeons and Dragons, I think, right?
Yeah. I like prepping. I only really prep like encounters and maps these days, but sometimes they don't even get used like where I originally think they're going to get used. They get, pushed off to the side or pulled in early or whatever the case may be. And the world prep stuff I generally front load now. So before we even start a campaign, I'll put many hours into figuring out the world, the political structure, the things they're probably going to interact with, the places I'm hoping the story will go long term, the some of the big secrets of the world, some of the small local secrets and things like that.
But how do you go about that? Do you write the whole pages full of the stuff, or do you just use keywords, or?
I use a variety of methodologies. I'm pretty chaotic. So I have like
same.
a Google Doc folder open basically, and so if I have a new idea that I haven't done anything with, I'll open up a document in it and I'll just be like, okay, the gods of this world now, and I'll be like this god and that god, and this is what's going on, and these are the worshippers and stuff like that. And other times I'll be like, I think it would be cool if they had a fight on like a dock trying to protect the boat from raiders. And like that'll just there's like I have long lists of just like half a statement basically.
Yeah.
But then as time goes on, I use them up because I'll be like oh, I don't really know what's going to happen next here, and then I'll go through my list and I'll be like, that's it, that's the one I'm going to use, this one. I cross it out and and then I build it out a little bit more in my mind.
Yeah, but I think both Jasper and me have this as well, that we have these moments planned during the adventure and we have no idea when it's going to come up, and then suddenly stuff clicks and then you think, yeah, it's time, now we're going to use this.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I use Google Docs not because I'm endorsing them in any way, but I use it because it's easily accessible on like computer or my phone. So if it doesn't matter where I am when I have an idea, I'm just like, oh, I'll just open it up real quick and just put this point form statement down. But then the for like session prep, I always tell people like, oh, I need to do my session prep. I always like leave it last minute. I do it Saturday morning kind of thing. But really, most of that is remembering what happened last session, writing like my introduction for this session,
Yeah.
uh,
Oh
and
well,
making sure that I've got at least a map or two and some possible encounters I can lay down for them. And like that's it. I don't I don't plan out conversations or what they're doing next because that's up to them. And you know, it's just kind of I try to keep my world very fluid and very open.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't even write down personalities or stuff like that. That's nothing I mean, even if I do know that they're gonna talk to a certain NPC or something, then his personality forms the moment they encounter him, and not
Exactly.
before.
Yeah. As I said in our private thread where we talked about the one shot that we did, I had a village hidden in the haze for like I prepped it. I think like 1.5 year ago or something, and then I thought it would come up, not last session, but the session before that, and then they went on another way again. So there's a battle map and everything, and I know what's going on there. And although I must admit in this case that I'm kind of letting the strength of the encounter grow through time, because it wouldn't be funny anymore if there was just some skeletons hidden in the haze. Now they're all monstrosities. Um, but that's a thing that has never been used, but they're still going to get there at some point because they want to get there, but
Mhm.
things keep interrupting the flow of the adventure, so to say. Uh, I like it when that happens. A lot. Hmm. Um, okay, so now chat is going really quick. Um, there's some foreshadowing stuff. And it depends on the group, yeah. And there's some shenanigans as well. So let's go to the next answers. Kyle says, is there an option for figuring it out as you go? Haha, I'm still learning and hope to only get better. And Mitchell says, Kyle, you will always be figuring it out as you go.
I was literally going to say that.
Yeah,
That's all of us.
It kind of ties into
yeah,
to our last piece, of course, but because there we were talking about improv, and I thought this was a good follow up to that part of of the answers that we were being given. Um, yeah. Is there anything else? Are there ways to prep where you will never get surprised and just do your thing every session to the fullest?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
you could not invite your players to join, but if they're gonna join, then yeah, then you
D-
can't plan anything.
I've had a
I
long
that,
chat with Paul from Hops and Dragons about this because he's a planner. He tries to plan out everything. He's got like this big thick binder and he like has plans for like every eventuality. He's like, I never use it because they always do things that aren't in the binder.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
I
I know.
think I once said on this show before that no plan survives contact with the players.
Yeah, and I think that's true. Actually, even if they do the thing that you expected them to do, it even then it goes
It'll
uh,
be in a different way.
in a different way. Yeah. So uh, I think Mitchell gave Kyle some solid advice here.
Yeah, yeah. Just be confident, trust yourself, and just go.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. And
Oh,
adjust it. Don't be rigid. That's one of the biggest mistakes you can make in this theme.
Yeah. If you're
If
gonna
you're
get upset because your players are doing things not the way you initially imagined it, then you're gonna have a hard time enjoying D&D at all.
yeah
So it's better just to hold on really loosely to your plans and be a part of whatever it is your players are deciding to do.
yeah. Welcome, Dark Force 199999. I wish I could play and have a character and everything, says our newest arrival in chat.
I think
Well,
we've all been in that boat at some point in our lives. Uh, it's rough, but
yeah.
get out there, get yourself known to the people in the community, and you'll find a game.
And I know
yeah
for a fact that there might soon. No, okay, so I don't know for a fact, There might soon be a DM in our Discord who wants to start running a game, so maybe you can go to our Discord and see if you can. You could ask in chat if somebody would want to be a DM for you. He's called Shame Dev. Okay, it's getting a bit. I don't know. Yeah. So lovely answer. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Kyle, another one, said just to be certain, because there were 2 Kyles, says, I plan out the overarching plot in some detail, give characters, factions, villains, motivations and goals and whatnot. My suggestions are, this is the party's goal, how you accomplish it is up to you, and just let them figure out how to do what needs done. The details are all improv unless I'm seeding plot stuff for later.
Hey, by the way, I think the same thing's happening with your Discord as with mine, that if you don't focus the screen, the cameras freeze.
Yeah. How do I focus the screen?
Just have it active. Don't
make it be the main.
browser.
Yeah.
So you're kind of screwed in this. But
it's strange because that never happened before.
No, but I noticed it last Precipice session as well. It was annoying.
Yeah.
Cameras froze constantly because I was swapping between notes and you guys.
Strange.
Yeah, it's something Discord did. I don't know.
Yeah.
Discord's watching. Fix it.
Yeah. So I'm going to skip quickly now from now on. Then the freezes will be as short as possible. So I think that this is what we actually were talking about, right?
Yes.
Doing the world building stuff, and you're doing it beforehand, Shanks.
Yeah, I like to get a real firm foundation down so that I understand my world. I know what's going on. If I get asked a weird question, because they come up, like what's the main trade in this village or something like that, just based on where it is and what cities it's close to and everything, I can usually come up with an answer on the spot.
Yeah.
Because I have the grasp of, I've built this world out and fleshed it out enough that everything else can be improvised on the spot without hesitation.
Yeah.
And that might be exactly it. Just know your world. You don't have to write down a whole village, name the blacksmith, and figure out how much each sword cost. If you know the base stuff, the foundation of what you're doing, then you can come up with the rest on the spot very easily.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's just have to make it yours, and that's.
Yeah. What I really like is when the world gives you answers that you didn't know were there. Like there's this big gap in the lore, and then you start thinking about it. Why is this as a dungeon master, right? Well, why is there this big gap? What should fill this gap? And then logic starts determining what can fill this gap. For example, because now I might not be very. Man, my English is suffering this evening. I don't know why, but
Tired?
Yeah, I'm a bit tired. That's true. So, for example, I had this whole thing where there was this gap in the history where nothing had happened, and then all of a sudden I realized that the divine energy of the world were actually the things that were the things that dragons were born of, and then it made logical sense that I would implement them in that gap, because then it would make the historical process from start to finish a real thing. Okay, it's not very very explicit. Oh, my English, man, what's happening?
Well, it's still better than Ashley's Dutch, as he says in chat.
Still better than my Dutch. Yeah, thank you, Ashley. And we're having problems, technical problems. Thanks, chat. Yeah, we're doing our best. But do you understand what I'm getting at or not? Am I making any sense?
Well, yeah, that even if you have a gap in your story, then logic will just fill it in because you have a foundation for it.
Yeah, you can discover things as a dungeon master in your own world.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to say.
You can go on your own exploration.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course,
yeah. That's what I really like about being a dungeon master and developing your world to a point where it starts to have its own life, so to say. Yeah.
Yeah, but I've done the other thing as well. The like the opposite, that forming the world around the characters. I think I do usually do a bit of both, but it's all built upon that first foundation I had before I even started playing.
Mm.
But the things like it starts off as an abstract idea, and then the closer characters get, the more fleshed out it gets, in a way. Like it becomes, it goes from an abstract idea to a concrete thing, in my
Mhm.
head at least. As the characters come there, and I can see it through their eyes as well. Then stuff settles in. Well, before it might be a chaos of ideas.
Yeah, absolutely. There's tons of things that I had written down in my notes for Wizards of Zakaria that I was like, I this is the way I want it to go. This is the thing that, I want them to discover. And then as we got there,
Mm.
totally changed.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
just
Yeah.
because of player action and stuff like that and the way they're responding to certain things, I'm like, actually, it works better if it goes like this. And like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Oh, and now you're gonna look at that. Perfect. Now, okay. Now everything clicks.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
And
uh,
that's one of the most wonderful feelings as a DM, I find personally.
yes.
That moment that everything clicks and everything works out, and you think, yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that as well.
And that's something you can't really share with your players. I mean, it's a very
No, it's a lonely
private
experience.
feeling you have. Yeah, it's a lonely experience.
Sometimes,
It's
yes,
great.
it is.
So,
I've held secrets
with
for
other
over
yeah.
20 years.
yeah.
Yeah. Why is this happening? Are we
Well,
moving again? Yeah, we're
oh,
moving again. Uh, I've held secrets for over 20 years, which is cool in a way, but it's frustrating in another way. Uh, yeah, I still have some secrets left that no one knows about. Uh, hmm. Are we there yet? Are we still there? Or
yeah.
are you
I'm
all
still,
so
I'm still
silent
here.
because of
No.
my
We're
amazing?
just entranced by your beautiful voice, Jasper.
Oh, there we go again.
You can tell he really likes it, eh? His whole face lights
Yeah,
up.
yeah. You can just stroke his ego. You get everything from him. It's easy.
Yeah, it's so easy. It's so easy.
Okay.
I'm going to try this. Yes, then I can read it as well. Jeroen says, I have a homebrew world with quite extensive lore. A big part of it is tied to my player's backstory. I prep plot points that progress the story of their characters and some encounters based on where they are and what their plan is. The rest is improv.
Sounds
So,
fantastic.
we are going with the flow of the answers right now, I think.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
answering,
yeah.
we're giving the same answers as the people gave to the topic on Facebook and stuff. So that's cool. Yeah. So we already discussed this, Jeroen. I hope you're watching. If not, maybe see it on Friday on YouTube. But yeah, that's a very satisfying thing to build around the characters. The funny thing is, this was the only answer that had this in it. Out of 130 answers, this was the only person who said something about developing the game around the player's backstory.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is a good point. It's something that I really try to do. For both Vix's and Cheryl's character in Wizards of Zakaria, there are places that I made just because they needed a place to be from. Like I want to Vix's character, she's like, I really want him to be like from a vineyard. I'm like, oh, absolutely. So then on the east part of this
We're there.
country is now like vineyards everywhere. And well, if they're going to be vineyards, that means there has to be mountains. So now there's mountains too. And because generally with mountain ranges, one side is really luscious and the other side is really garbage. The other side is now garbage. Like it fleshes out so many
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You get this explosion from facts.
Yeah. I think I didn't really do it that much with, for example, the group that Roger is in. Although I use a lot of background from your characters to flesh out certain locations that you're visiting, and I'm doing it right now, although we've kind of put it on pause, that campaign. when I started it, it was still kind of the main story that drove the actual plot, so to say, and the characters' backgrounds were secondary in a sense, and they're only getting put to the front. Well, there was some interchangeable aspects to the adventure. Let's put it that way. Do you agree, Roger? If I put it like that,
I
or did
don't
you?
know. I experienced this as a player and not as a DM.
Yeah. So okay. So that's interesting. So you might still experience it as everything is revolving around you, which is the case. But then I didn't, and I think especially in your case, I did a lot of background stuff. But the adventure was really pre-written and could implement. Any character could be implemented into the story in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do know we messed up the story quite a lot.
Yeah.
Like
So then it became
had
personal in a
2 or
way.
3 sessions where you just halfway through said, "Okay, guys, sorry, but I really have to think about what's happening now. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna end it here."
And again, those are the most beautiful things that can happen as a dungeon
Yeah,
master. So
if
that's
the
the other
players
thing.
surprise you and
Yeah. But for example, in
set
my
everything along a different path.
yeah, in my Dramoor campaign, which I always also use for Jasper's laboratory, there I did everything around their backgrounds.
Yeah.
Every session has a couple of plot things that involve their backgrounds, just to keep them engaged. Because we only play once a month, and I want to have everyone at the table have a feeling of that the adventure is about them. And so I really build a web out of their backgrounds and how they are all connected and stuff in a logical sense without pushing it, because I don't like that when I'm watching series, for example. So yeah. Where was I going again with this? Roger, help me
no
out.
idea. Next slide.
Oh yeah,
Next slide.
right. So
Stay tuned.
this was the only one that said anything about backstories in the whole 130 answers, and I thought that was kind of strange. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
It is surprising, to say the
Yeah.
least.
Yeah, to be fair, this question has not yet been answered in the way I thought it would be answered.
So like, is your style dark fantasy or something?
Yeah, or never mind. Just go on.
Okay,
it'll
now
maybe
we're
come up
starting
soon.
to run. We have a couple of ways to go. So Sophie says Shakespearean, thus using themes and drama to create emotional investment for memorable stories. And Jason says,
like this.
Gothic high fantasy placed at the cusp of medieval and Renaissance. You could say a lot of improv, but that would be false because it would be built upon something already laid. I try to keep the world living. It moves even when there isn't something watching it.
We are currently frozen again.
No, we're not anymore. Yeah. Really annoying. I have to shift between.
Switch the
Yeah,
slide
yeah.
and move it back real quick. If you
I'm
can do
gonna
that. I
look
don't
for a solution for this because this
Yeah, it's
annoying
annoying.
to me as well.
Yeah.
know. I like both of those. I like both those answers. You know, having some sort of overarching theme and building up the drama a little bit can really add a lot of investment for the players.
Yeah.
And then trying to change because most of D&D takes place right squarely in that like medieval fantasy group, and shifting it even a little bit towards Renaissance or towards classical era or something really gives a different feel to the game. So yeah, no, I really like both of those ideas.
Yeah, you really you as a player will have an inkling of what's going to happen, even though you don't know the story.
Yeah, well, I personally run a sci-fi
Or how to
campaign,
react. Sorry, not what's going to happen.
and that was troublesome at start for the players because they didn't know what to expect and what was possible with all this technology and stuff like that. It's then at the start I set up some puzzles and stuff, and they really couldn't solve them because they had no idea where to start. Like they weren't used to just can I look this up on the computer over there or something like that. It's it made it's easier when you go back in time and have different expectations. Well,
Yeah, yeah. I think the
but this
introduction
this
of
answer
the
is
internet is
more.
really strange. Yeah.
Sorry.
The introduction of an intranet in
Oh
your
yeah, yeah.
campaign is really strange because then all of a sudden you have access to all bits of knowledge instead of just relying on your history skill, for example. Mm.
Yeah, yeah. That's why. Yeah. Well, history is a knowledge base, but not necessarily a skill in my opinion.
Yeah,
It's some because if they want to look up who was the 60th president of Earth, then just type it in and they know. It's no
yeah,
problem at all.
yeah.
But yeah, the way Sophie answered this question is more along the lines of what I was expecting as an answer, like being dramatic or bombastic or epic or
So,
stuff
what's
like
your
that.
style, Shanks?
What's my style?
Yeah,
That's so hard to answer. I I mean, improv is a big part of what I do, as I've made clear. Uh, I try to balance. I think balanced would probably be my style. I really try to balance like role play versus combat. Social encounter versus like exploration or puzzles or anything like that. Um, I try to make sure that there's an actual challenge to everything, but that it's always possible for the players to succeed. And I don't know, it's hard to say because I've done so many different things, so many different ways, but I do try to make my end goal for my campaigns is always that like my heroes or like my players are the heroes. They are the legends now who have accomplished it and they can move on. But I also very much want them to have earned that title. So I guess I really try to balance my desire for them to succeed with the actual challenges that they would face in the dangerous world they live in.
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I I, I kind of like the more dystopian feel. The that's not well. I kind of make I traumatize my characters a lot. I think.
Yeah, yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah.
You
And
don't get to be the hero if you play Jasper's campaign. You're gonna experience. It's more like a Greek tragedy.
yeah. I'm
Well, see,
thinking of Marilyn Manson singing "I want to live, I want to love, but it's a long, hard road out of hell." That kind of feeling. That's kind of
you,
describes my campaigns, and they're
not to jump
possible.
like right back in, but the scene at the end of Lord of the Rings where Frodo is moving on
Yeah,
because even though he is the hero now of legend, they accomplished everything they set out for. He's so broken and traumatized he can't live in Middle Earth anymore.
yeah, yeah.
That's pretty much where I'm aiming.
Okay, then we
They've
are
done
on
it,
the same.
but they've been through hell.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that part of it, and I've been blamed of being too harsh for my characters at some points.
Yeah, there have been complaints. Not necessarily from our group. Our group was
Yeah,
got
yeah.
off, but we were smarter than the other group. So I guess
Are they in chat? They are.
I don't know, man. But
I don't really even have to try that hard. My players
can't
bring
argue with me if it's true. Yeah.
What? Shanks, sorry?
I don't even have to try that hard though, because my players bring trauma to the table. Like
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
they come in like
exactly.
this is
Yeah.
here are several things that my character's already traumatized about. I'm like, oh, okay, great. I'm going to use these, right? And they're like, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Exactly.
yeah.
It's what I've been doing with the Precipice. I mean, most of the drama doesn't come from me at all. I just
Right.
put up
Yeah.
put on an extra layer to
So-
their already existing tragedy and drama.
It's like one of my players said, "Why did you make me kill my own mother?" I said, "I just set the stage. You put the rapier through her heart. You know."
Yeah, I did nothing.
You could have made a different decision.
Yeah, and why were you laughing while you were doing it? You know? Oh, because there was an illusion and they were goblins. It seemed like they were goblins. Yeah, okay, but yeah, still your mother. Anyway, let's move on from that one. But nice answers, right?
definitely.
Okay,
Yeah, great
then
answers.
I have to go there. And I think we had a minimal break in the stream. But who said it? Somebody said, D&D WME. It's a recent Discord update. A patch went out. Happened to us last session.
Mm,
Yeah.
Yeah, the same last session
Yeah.
it started.
fair enough.
This side I really liked because it was kind of practical. Kenny says, start small, then snowball into something bigger by allowing the players to weave the narrative. Kyle says, 75% improv, 10% prep, 10% rules explanation, 5% foreshadowing, which makes for a nice manual. And
Mhm.
Yuri says, homebrew long-term campaigns with elaborate, interesting, and consistent plots. So these are kind of blueprints for how you can do it. I thought,
Yeah.
I didn't want to put them in the funny section because I actually think this can be a quite serious standard for how you plan your campaigns.
Yeah, that last one sounds like me though.
Yeah, but you're funny.
Am I?
No, not really. Sorry.
No,
Yeah.
but I actually asked my two of my players yesterday when we ended the session, and we always have to talk outside still before we go home. And I asked them, "Hey, I'm on the show tomorrow, so how would you describe my DM style?" And one of them said, "Elaborate."
I like that though. That's fantastic. I'd take that as a compliment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But he
I
wanted
did,
a
yeah.
small adventure lasting 5 weeks, and he stuck with him for 10 years or 25
Yeah.
years for some of
I
them.
the player that said it has been a player in my campaign for the last 20-ish years.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So elaborate is a nice way to describe that.
Yeah.
And so, do you like that then? No.
I just want to shoot stuff. Yeah.
Why can't I kill a demon?
Yeah. Came out of a huge lore session where we discussed lore of history that happened like 30,000 years ago, and
The-
it got a bit difficult here and then.
yeah. I need to go to bed, but my FOMO is keeping me here, says Michelle. What's a FOMO?
Uh,
I don't know.
I feel like I've heard this before, but I can't in the
oh,
moment
it's
think of what it is.
just
Cast the DM says, I've been told mine's fergalicious. If your style is fergalicious, then
fear of missing out. That's it.
Fear of missing out. Oh, yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Fear of missing out. Yes, they're saying it. Michelle is saying it. We relate to the party. But that's because we're dungeon masters. We're not part of the party.
No.
I mean, I am, but
Oh, you are. You
yeah,
actually
yeah.
are.
Oh, cheater. Yeah.
I like to let
You
everyone
have
figure.
all the fun. Yeah. Oh, how do you handle trauma for your own character then, Shanks?
Trust me. There is tons of it. There have been times where I've been prepping things that are gonna happen to my character and like literally just wept by myself in my room about it. I don't let myself out of like I said, I'm a player like everyone else.
Have you ever made anyone cry? Like not
Mhm.
yourself, but someone else?
Yeah,
Okay, nice.
absolutely.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And there have been times where just role playing through a session where I know that my character's gone through something traumatic, but it's only sort of hinted at. But like I actually know the full story of what's going on behind the scenes, and I'm just like, so you see it walking down the way? It's really hard sometimes, man.
Yeah. The emotional roller coaster is a strange thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I must say I've got more highs than lows. I think.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, the for me the also with both Bowens, even though I had some dark stuff happening to me, I think the parts where I actually could celebrate friendship or something are stronger experiences for me than when I was really sad. Which I think
but
is,
that's also something that's inherent to Bowen, though, right? Like friendship is that important to him, or
Yes,
is
in
it
a sense, yes,
or
it is.
something he hasn't really experienced? He has gone through some really sad stuff in his past, and
Yeah.
half of it the other guys don't even know about.
No, no, they still
Uh,
have to discover that. Yeah. Yeah, friendship is difficult for Bowen,
but
for
he
both
but he
Bowens.
never had a friend, a real friend.
He had two.
Ah,
He
yeah,
had
one,
two,
yeah,
but yeah, they died. So
yeah.
that happened. um, but I was going somewhere with that as well. Happy. Oh,
More
but
highs than lows.
Jasper, me, although what I kind of like, for example, is my favorite music list is When You're Up, You Can Only Go Down, which is filled with only melancholy songs. And that's what I really love, you know, the sadness, the hurt by. Oh, now I can't come up with names anymore.
It's okay.
Not
Get to
Nine Inch
me.
Nails, but the old dude who died as well.
Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash, yeah. Why can't I come up with Johnny Cash? But those kinds of songs, they're all in there. And,
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm a big fan of that style as well.
yeah. Madrugada, which is beautiful. Even ABBA with The Day Before You Came. I really love that song. Yeah. Anyway, now we've come to the ABBA part, so we're going to be really sad in a minute or so. We're kind of nearing the end, just so you know.
And that in itself is sad. But
Yeah, that's also sad. Is this
All
the
good
end?
things
Yeah,
must come to an end.
yeah. But when in danger, they yell, "Run, DMC." You call it DM. Okay.
The M character, yeah.
Yeah. Mark, I mostly run off modules, but take liberties to improv my own quirks here and there when necessary, and rely a lot on chars for random outcomes just because I feel the game is more fun when it's unpredictable. So, two
fair enough.
things. Uh, the only one I think who's talking about modules in all of the 130 questions, although and considers that a dungeon master style, which I like.
Hmm.
And the other part is that he uses things to determine random outcomes,
Yeah.
which is a discipline that I don't have,
No.
but which I can admire in dungeon masters.
Yeah, no, I absolutely appreciate that style, and there are things that I will roll for randomness at times. Um, but what I've determined, and I'm not knocking modules or random rolls or anything like that. I absolutely 100% support them. Um, anytime, any style, any way that you're playing the game that you and your friends are enjoying it, I support. Um, but for me as a DM, I cannot stay bound to a module or to like things that the dice are absolutely going to determine for me every time. I just can't. I need that freedom to adapt the world to what's going on and try to find the best possible story for my players.
Yeah. Well, I recently took up modules because I was too busy designing my own adventures and wanted to play with my wife and kid. And Michelle said you should try the the starter set with the Lost Mines of Vandelver.
Mhm.
And I actually really like it. I'm just doing that module. But the thing is that every time I start a session, I have to read through it again because my mind doesn't work that way.
Mm.
So it's still kind of a lot of prep in another way than I would normally do. But it's there. So I can always
Yeah,
pick it up and I don't have to
I
invent
have
other stuff.
never ever tried it. Never on a random module or a campaign setting or
Well,
I
my
really
so I
liked the
don't
Lost
know.
Mine of Phandelver. I thought it was very well put together.
yeah, it is.
It was a really interesting setting. That was what we started with, and then when it was over, I was like, great, let's keep going.
Yeah,
And so we just kept going with those characters, and I built a lot of new mechanics in. Like the people of Phandelver were so great that you know, the ruins that are in the town, um, like that there was an old manor in Phandelver. Um, well, we rebuilt that into an actual like Lord's Manor, so to speak, and the party became more or less the lords of the of Phandelver. Uh, the town like offered to
yeah,
pay to rebuild this whole thing if they would stay as protectors of them. And
Yeah.
so like we went from there, and like
I know
and
which
from
house you
there's
mean,
like
and that's indeed it's a great seed to take and make something of for your characters. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And so I just like after that I was like, well, I want to keep I like this feeling of taking something that we started from and really building it out.
yeah.
And so I've never looked back. I've never wanted to run another module since then.
Yeah.
Well, my first really big adventure was the Night Below, a second edition module that brought you from level 1 to level 15.
Wow.
And Matthew Colville does this game about twice a year. And took me 8 years to complete because I kept adding to it to make it interesting for the characters and stuff. But yeah, I actually I did adventures before that, but I think that was kind of my magnum opus at that time, which is strange because anyway.
It's not magnum opus.
Nee, no,
It's
I
the
mean,
best thing you ever did
yeah,
at that time.
at that time, yeah, and it was a really great adventure, and I think we enjoyed it really much. But we wouldn't have done so if I just kept it did only the content that was in the booklets, because then it would have been really boring. Yeah, so I expanded my whole world around that adventure. It lasted 8 years,
That's awesome.
or 6 or 8 years. I don't know. I can't remember.
Probably 8. Sounds like 8.
Yeah, but the
I don't
last
know.
years
I
were.
wasn't part of it.
Might have been 7.
Yeah, it might have been. Let's put it at 7. Yeah. So Casta DM is actually thinking of doing a Lost Mines of Vandelver on his Discord.
Yeah, if you're looking to do a module, I can recommend it. I thought it was great. I
Yeah,
just didn't want to do modules anymore afterwards.
No, it's really great. It's yeah. The only thing I dislike about the adventure is the map of the Lost Mine. But I'm going to do that on stream at a certain point. I'm going to redraw
You're
that whole
gonna
map.
redesign it. Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
I love maps, so yeah. Crimson Rockstar says, "Oh no, today is not the day. Try and have me work extra time. Darn issues popping up. Sorry, Crimson Rockstar. Life getting in the way."
It happens.
Yeah, nearly there. Then I have to go there and there. Dan says, when playing Dungeons & Dragons, challenge-based, staying close to the rules and intending to present a solid challenge that will beat you if you're not trying to win. Staying fair to the CR guidelines and running the encounters with absolute minimum amounts of bias and dice fudging. If you win, you deserved it. If you lost, you should know why. When playing World of Darkness, absolutely freeform, letting everything unfold based on the player's actions and focusing more on moments of dramatic narrative than creating an adventure. I put this one in because by now we've kind of established how we DM. And then this post says something about different systems implying different kinds of DM styles, or at least for Dan.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I DM differently for different types of games. So we did one superhero episode with Mutants and Masterminds 3rd edition. And to me, Mutants and Masterminds, which is a great system, but like the play style and the system and everything else lends itself better to much more collaborative storytelling than D&D. So like in D&D, like yeah, I'm the DM and I'm gonna more or less control the world. But when we're playing Mutants and Masterminds, they're like, I'm like, hey, you gotta be downtown now, and they're like, oh, I'll hop on like the number 12 bus, and it's a direct route to downtown. Yep, great, okay. And how are you getting there? And like, and they it's not like a do I have the ability to? It's much more of a just tell me how you do it. This is your world.
Yeah. I can understand what you're trying to say there. Yeah, I think we did the Call of Cthulhu one shot we did. We had the same sense of freedom, like how do we get there and how do you control the narrative, and just if you can do something, just see what comes closest and use that as a skill, for example. And it's much more freeform. I think Dungeons and Dragons, especially combat, relies on balanced mechanics in a way. which
Right.
is far less prevalent in other games.
And something we usually veer away from a bit. I mean, we don't do conventional combat. We think of our own mechanics. We try to do other stuff that we don't abide by CR guidelines and stuff like that.
Well, I
No,
mean,
we
CR
don't.
kind of breaks down after a certain point anyway.
Yeah,
I've never really
like
got a grasp of CR.
uh, but we are always strategic when we do combat. In
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
even if we are doing it kind of funny, we still know how to balance effort um, and fun, so to say,
yeah,
in combat. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So I like that
yeah. But
answer.
the top remark about D&D, it sounds more like an actual game where you can win or lose.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
well, bottom
but
answer is more of what I think D&D can also be. I mean, okay,
yeah, I
sure,
understand what
not
you're
all
trying to say.
runes.
Yeah. If you think of Dungeons and Dragons in a game where you can win or lose, then I think you're playing it wrong anyway, because you can't really win, and losing, if that's the state of you dying, then it's a beautiful part of the story as well, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Uh, but again, if that's what the way they like to play, I don't
yeah,
fault them
of
for it.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
not,
know, if they want to play a hack and slash dungeon crawler as a top-down tabletop or top-down, gosh, see how easy the branding slips in. As a tabletop RPG, then more power to them. I wouldn't
yeah.
mind even playing a game like that occasionally. But it's just
If you want to do a hero quest or Warhammer quest in D&D, then the rule set's perfect for that. It works. But,
yeah,
why not?
absolutely.
If you enjoy that, do it.
Yeah, true.
But I agree that it's not the game that I want to play long term. Is where, you know, it's like, well, we're trying to win here. It's like, I mean, your character should be trying to stay alive for sure. They should be trying to accomplish their goals, but like you as a player, uh, should be open to whatever happens in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay. To the next one. Two more to go. Mark says Mass Effect style alliance building grand strategy warfare epic with deep character driven narratives. Honestly, it's because it's the game I'd love to play, but no one really runs these sort of games, so I do. My players love it because they fall in love with my NPCs, their characters, and the world. They get to be as invested in this world's survival as many are invested in just their party's survival. We've lost PCs, friends, mentors, lovers, etc., all in the name of something truly worth fighting for: the right to exist and to choose. I say we because I've embodied many of the lost characters on my side of the screen, and I honestly get just as emotionally invested in these relationships as they do. I thought,
Very
Roger,
nice.
would certainly have to put this one in for you, but I don't know if Shanks has the same Mass Effect love, but yeah.
Yeah, this is my style as well. I don't know who this Mark is, but I like his style.
Yeah.
I regret to inform you that I have tried Mass Effect on 3 separate occasions and I just could not.
Heresy. Yeah,
It's the same for me, but it was time
yeah.
investment, really.
I know.
Yeah, yeah,
I really liked a lot of what they did with with the universe and like the way that you form relationships and stuff. There's a lot about it that I did like, but then I felt that like as soon as you went into any mission, it immediately just became run and gun, and I was just like,
Yeah,
well,
but
this is
that
boring.
is true, especially for the first part. But yeah, don't think that's the. I mean, Mass Effect is mentioned here, but it's just that um, the grand epic strategy involving the whole world, and the stakes get higher and higher and higher, and at some point it's the entire universe. No, it's all of existence, and the whole and time and whatever, and just blow it up bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's what I have been doing in the past 20 years, I think.
Right.
And I
Yeah,
read
I
that here
really
as well,
appreciate.
like drama, losing the ones you love and stuff like that. It's just yeah.
yeah.
And I agree with sentiment that no one was doing it, so I just do it. That's why. Uh, I mean, somewhere I think that DMs are DMing the adventure they would actually rather have played in.
Yeah, sometimes.
Like you do where, yeah,
Oh, this would be so cool. Yeah. Now I'm going to tell it
yeah,
to someone else.
yeah, exactly. Let them experience what I had wanted to experience or something like that.
Well, I think we started somewhere at the start of this main topic. We said something about keeping a secret for so long, building the suspense and stuff. I think this is kind of a nice conclusion to that narrative, because
Yeah.
um, when this is how you view your Dungeons and Dragons game, then you really have made a deep dive into making something of it for your players, I think. Uh, and you
Yeah,
can spoil them for 20 years and then have an epic conclusion and say, I already knew this when we started. How do you feel now? You know? Yeah. Would be great, right?
well, kind of did that a couple of years ago.
Yeah, you did it. And yeah. And that was great.
It was great. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And emotional and stuff, and the end to
No crying though. I didn't see any tears. It's when I destroyed the world when one of the players cried.
yeah. Yeah, that's a thing, destroying world. Huh.
Yeah,
You're
it
not going to
just
do this
happened.
that
Was
in this
somewhere
one, right?
halfway through. It
Yeah.
was.
For the
Yeah.
end, I have a big answer one, because I think this one kind of made it a whole story from the first answers to this one, but I had to add one other one, and that's a big answer that's coming up on the screen now. Um, Michelle says, my style pretty much. Oh shit. Oh shit. What does that spell do? I didn't realize they could do that. Fuckity fuckity fuck fuck fuck. Why are they talking to this NPC? They don't even qualify as an NPC. They are background filler. Deepest voice. Yes, I come from a town to the north, little place. You've never heard of it. My name is Fred. Fred of the North. I'm a farmer. I grow things in the dirt. No, I've never heard of a person you are inquiring about. I just got into town. Excuse me. I need to go to see about the sale of my turnips. I have hungry children at home up in the north. Okay, you take 20 points of acid damage. No? You are acid resistant? Okay, take half. What do you mean you have a cloak of all immunity to corrosives? Where did you get that? Oh, when you killed the alchemist 3 months ago. Okay, you don't take any damage. What do you mean, wait? The cloak turns the attack on the opponent that you when you spin it with a reaction. Okay, the big monster squirts his acid stuff at you, but you throw it in your cloak and you get sprayed back at the monster. Fortunately, wait. Why the hell doesn't it have resistance to poison, for God's sake? Okay, the monster sprays itself in the face with poison and dies. Take 25 XP and you find 5 gold. Next up on the initiative, Bob. Okay, you are readying a bottle of acid to throw at the other monsters. Great. I'd say that about sums it up.
Yeah, I think that's. I
Right.
I understand what he's getting at here, because that previous answer is what I want to be. This is what actually happened. Now, where was I? Whose initiative was it?
My players have surprised me many times with like, oh shit, you're tearing this entire thing down, and this was supposed to be like the deadly encounter. Okay, that's fine. I'm always just like, oh, okay, great. You tear this thing apart. CR goes up next week. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
again, CR system's kind of broken anyway, but I mean, like, I know that next week they're gonna face something harder, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're gonna forget resistances and abilities and things like that.
Yeah, but it's just we're not robots. We're not
No,
computers.
no.
We make mistakes constantly,
Yeah.
I
repeatedly.
there is Vix had a character in one campaign that kept resist. It was a drunken master monk, and I can't remember what it was that she had, like, not just advantage, like she just could not be affected by something, or could just choose to overcome it or something. And it came up like a couple of times because I just kept forgetting, And every time, like, oh shit, you have that. Damn it. Why do I keep using it on you? Oh, because you're the one that's always running up into the monster's face and attacking it because you're the monk. Um,
Yeah, but that is good. That's actually a good decision because you don't. I try not to take into account the character's ability when I'm designing an encounter.
no,
I'm
of
not. I'm
course.
not countering them, so to say.
No,
And
but it was just really funny because later in that campaign, that character absolutely got eaten by a corpse eating flower, whatever you call it, and she was just like, "Is this because I kept resisting all your freaking abilities?"
Uh, oh, yeah.
No, it was coincidental. It felt good though.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
yeah,
Yeah, it
exactly.
felt good.
But they always think it's personal. At least more often than not.
Yeah.
It's not
There is
personal.
a ranger nearby with cure wounds who decided not to cure her.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of like it when the when I start rolling 20s, for example. I'm really having fun when I'm start rolling 20s against my party, and they don't understand that because I'm supposed to be on their side in a way. But it just sometimes feels so good when they step over 3 of your encounters, and then the fourth one, which isn't even that much harder than the previous 3, suddenly becomes very hard because you really start rolling and they are depleted on resources. And then you're going, yes, finally, get them.
See this.
Yeah. Well, aren't we all a
Well,
bit
I have
at times?
pre-boss encounters. I've had pre-boss encounters that were way harder than the boss encounters just because the die rolled that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've fallen into the trap before of like, oh, this is because going back on the CR thing, it's like, oh, well, this is a suitable like medium encounter for them. But then as the fight starts going, you realize, oh, they can do this as a reaction. Oh, they've got like fireball. Oh, okay. All right. Never mind. This should not be a CR8 monster.
Yeah. Well, they are saying that in the new edition, which is kind of a revamp of the current
5.5.
edition, the 5.5 edition,
Yeah.
they're going to rebalance much of that kind of stuff. So I'm
Right.
curious what that will bring.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I think the meaning of this answer is just how DMing goes. It's never perfect, and you're never this infallible narrator that does everything right constantly, and it's just a lot of and oh yeah, that's right. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is this
I mean,
Mitchell.
players are worse, but
Yeah.
DMs are.
The funny thing is that this Mitchell is the same Mitchell that gave Kyle at the start of the of the stream the answer of no, it's always going to be that way.
Yeah. I feel like this Mitchell has a firm grasp on
Yeah, I think so as well.
He has some good self-reflection.
Yeah,
Well.
I complimented him on it because I thought it was so
awesome
so
answer.
cool. Yeah. So that's actually the last answer that we've had for this topic. So we're going to well, before we go to the last screen and announce the next topic for Talking Void, how was your evening, Shanks?
It's not evening for me yet.
Oh,
But-
yeah, how's your afternoon?
But I'm having a blast, and I'm really glad that you guys invited me to be here. I'm always pleased to spend any time with any of you guys at the Voidcast. You're incredible players. You're incredible people. And I don't know. If you keep inviting me back, I'm going to keep coming. So
Yeah, well,
We'll do that then. Yeah.
We enjoy having you. Thanks for all those wonderful words, of course. But
Yeah.
if we didn't enjoy having you, then you wouldn't be here so often.
Yeah, it
Unless you
feels
keep
really
stroking
natural to.
Jasper's ego.
Yeah, it feels really natural to play with you guys, and that's
yeah, you
great.
know that I'm glad you said that because that's something that I felt too. Like the very first time we collaborated, it just felt so comfortable right away.
Yeah,
And I was really impressed by that because that's not a connection that you have with everybody.
Yeah.
But you guys are really really cool, and I like your philosophy. You know how like you're always just so reassuring. Like all we're doing is playing a game with friends. That's all. Like just
Yeah.
relax. You know.
Yeah.
I just yeah,
Fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
you're fantastic.
We're just going to have some fun, and if things go amiss, then that's part of the story. Yeah. Yeah.
And if Jasper's acting a bit cringy, then that's just Jasper. That's
That's always me. Yeah. I love the cringe. Yeah. Yeah. I actually,
don't.
well, I actually thought about this because of course, when we were playing Call of 2 and I was doing the mad psychologist, I was thinking, what would people think when they see me for the first time doing this role? so unfriendly to women and so harsh to to well everybody and said, man, this is not at all who I am in real life.
I've engaged in PvP many times before. That was the first time that I ever was glad I shot and killed an ally. Just like, good, he's dead. So happy.
Finally.
Yeah. He had some
the
other
character-
issues as well.
Yeah, but to be fair, I understand what you mean. That people can just join the stream and think, "What kind of asshole is this?" Because
Yeah.
you're like, "What the hell?" And isn't it so that for instance, Critical Role that thingy, I can't remember
Marisha?
her name, was really Marisha was disliked a lot because she played an unlikable character.
Yeah, she
even
did
though
that
she's
in
not
both
unlikable
campaigns.
herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She did that in both campaigns, or at least a low charisma character that she played really well because of awkwardness or simply not adapting to the normal. And I love her for it. She's such a great player, but she gets a lot of mud thrown her way. Yeah.
Which I think is really unfounded. She plays the character so well.
Yeah.
You know, and people are like, I don't know, I guess they bash her because well, it's not likable, but that's the character.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not,
She's
not
doing it
every
so
character has
well.
to be likable. Yeah,
And
Exactly.
consistently, consistently through the whole campaign, with a growth arc and everything.
And
And
I really liked her though from the beginning.
yeah,
I kind of like characters like that.
same. Yeah.
You know, but yeah. Anyway,
Once you understand that they are doing a really great job at acting, then I can't look. Well, I can't imagine
yeah,
how.
but they're doing such a great job that they
Yeah.
attribute what is happening to the person instead of the character.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's a shame.
That
And
is
that's
a shame.
that can happen to you, Jasper. That
Yeah, I was just thinking this.
people
I
think
I
you're
don't really mind, but
misogynistic,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And then there was Ash who was trying to top you.
yeah, yeah. Ash, oh our dear Ash. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think
Well,
the word you're
everybody's
looking for is
topping
anyway.
someone. What?
Nothing. No, go on. Go on.
Everyone is always trying to top someone, I think. I mean, in the end, you rode away in your wagon with the damsel.
Well, not really, not the right one. To be honest, that wasn't who I was supposed to save. I was just like, you're young and attractive. Let's just get the hell out of here.
True. Yeah. Okay, so let's go to the last screen. We're going back to the small answer screen, and we're going to this slide. And we've already froze. We've already seen this question because what experience in an adventure made you laugh or cry the hardest? That's the one we were originally going to do, but then we thought let's get Shanks on the show, and Roger wanted to do this one because I think Esner said it in chat.
Yeah, it's because Esner said it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it.
No, Esner said the DM style thing,
Yeah.
and that was a great idea. So we took up that one. And
I wanted to be in on the DM topic with it, because all the previous topics where I was your guest all were player topics, and
Yeah.
I haven't been much of a player. I mean, only in your campaign. That's it.
Yeah.
Is that why you're salty about the Jasper monologues?
Yeah,
he's always
Go
salty
with
about
yes.
me. So, and as we know, cocks can be salty at times.
Gosh.
Still talking about poultry though.
Poultry,
Oh my
poultry
gosh.
pops.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Depends on how you
Wow.
bake them. Yeah. Uh, well, we had to
Yeah,
get there
meat and
in the
turkeys.
end,
That's
Shanks.
if you have Jasper in any of your campaigns, don't use phallic-shaped objects or anything. Just don't reference any phallic stuff, and you'll be fine. And he's great. But
Well,
One day,
beware if you don't heed his advice.
I think
one
I
day,
wasn't the worst one on the show, actually.
yeah, you were,
Which is actually, I really need to go back and watch it as well.
you were pretty bad.
Uh,
But again, Ash, who acts all innocent all the time, was
He's
just
the worst.
like,
He's
I'm
the
gonna
worst.
top everyone.
Yeah, he's the worst.
Uh, but one of
I
these
don't
days
know
when
how
I
he does
recoup
that.
my sanity, I think we'll revisit the village hidden in the haze.
Okay.
I think one day,
Yeah.
not soon,
Yeah.
but one day.
And instead of erect cocks, it will be moist vaginas.
Well, you remember the bone
There's
shredder
no
got away.
ambiguity there.
Okay, sorry. I did not say that. Cut it from the show, please. No, we
I
will
think
not.
our editor went to bed though. So.
Yeah.
The bone shredder may team up with a team of feisty tabaxi, so it can be fighting a bunch of ninja pussy cats.
Yeah. Okay, that's a better one. For
That's
sure.
how
For
you
sure.
should go about
That's
it.
how you
yeah.
do it. Yeah. Not be
Yeah.
so explicit. Remember, Jasper. Remember. Okay. Anyway, thanks for joining us. For all those in chat, go to Top Down Tabletop's social media. Vix, can you put a link
Yeah,
to your?
drop the chat.
She may be busy now.
And then just say it. I'll. Do you have a link for you? I think you do. Right?
Yes, but I don't know what it is.
Really?
Come on, man.
Well, you have a Twitch channel though. Twitch.
Yeah, the Twitch is just Top Down Tabletop, all one word.
Yeah, with all capitalized, right?
I don't think capitals matter.
On Twitch they do. Oh no, not
Does
for a
it?
link, of course. Yeah,
Not
only
for a
if you
link.
want to host and stuff. But
Yeah.
and you have your own channel as well, right? It's,
I do. It's DM_Shanks.
Yeah. So put those in there and
Yeah,
click
just-
on them, follow them.
I promise the content will be more mature from now on.
Why?
Wait, what? More mature, which means more explicit.
No, that he doesn't mean rated. That's immediately your mind goes there. It's he's saying that he will try to grow up. You know.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's what you mean.
Dave derailed my whole thing about, playing one shots without 3 hours of dick jokes. And but I'm getting back informed. This Saturday we're actually doing a charity stream.
Yeah.
With some.
Yeah, talk about your channel. What are you going to do? Tell us
So
everything.
This Saturday, our normal time, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. We are going to have a one shot with some guests, Maritime Gamer, and I can't remember what her actual handle is. She's from the Lady Nim is her handle. Thank you.
Yeah.
She's from like the Topo Turtle guild and everything. But Beth is going to join us. Nate's going to join us. Then we're going to have Vix and she was on your channel.
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
And Cheryl's going to be with us, and we're doing a Sky Pirates one shot. It's going to be awesome. I am really aiming to kill them this time. One shot, it doesn't matter.
It's cool if that happens in the one shot.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And so when will be
Also,
your
so-
next? When will be your next? Man, Ice
Stream?
Cream Sunday. Is that every Sunday or?
I usually do it every Sunday, but lately things have been a little bit crazy. I actually was in a one shot last Sunday, so I couldn't. And the week before that was just a mess. So I might be back at it this Sunday, I hope. I hate to leave my viewers hanging on this stuff. I don't know what to play.
Well, go to
Also
that
to
Discord.
just
You're
follow
very
you and click on
very
the
good in
bell
your
or go to
announcement.
Discord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you follow me and if you join our Discord, you
I
know,
mean, you
you'll get
spam
more
our
regular
Discord as well,
updates.
so
That's
you
true.
can
I spam your
automate that.
Discord.
You
Hmm?
can automate that.
I know, but
Yeah.
I
Okay.
I just feel like it's just as easy to do
Posting
it
everywhere.
manually.
Yeah.
Um, but oh gosh, what was I? I don't know. After this Saturday, though, just be aware, Top Down Tabletop is taking a rest for a week, maybe two, because as you know, we have to restructure things. So we need to kind of get together as a group and really decide what it is we are doing next, how we're going to be doing it. Um, my mind and my heart very much currently are on let's keep going with the campaigns we have open, but we need to find a way to sort of get the number of players back up, and you
Yeah.
know, so we got some stuff to figure out, but
Yeah.
more content is coming.
Cool. If you ever need us for a one shot, even if it's in the middle of the night, just ask us. We'll see
I
if we can join.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
I try not to wreck your lives too much, but
I love the experience actually. I went to bed at 8:30, woke up at 12:30, went to bed at 5:30 and over 4:30, and woke up at 10:15. So
I would just stay up. I would never do it like that.
Yeah.
I would just play video games until it's time to go. And
I had more hours of sleep
just go.
than I would normally have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's,
Yeah. Okay. Well,
all right. Well,
this
thank you again for having me, guys.
yeah. Thanks
it was a
again
pleasure.
for joining.
Really.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Great to have you here.
Yeah. So to everybody in chat, to everybody who will be watching this in the future on YouTube or wherever, thanks for joining us. Yeah, there are a lot of shenanigans happening in chat always, so join us on Twitch whenever you can, because that's always funny. But on YouTube, we'll always try to answer the questions that are in chat by repeating the question that is being asked. Yeah.
I'm not sure where you're going with
No.
this.
So for YouTube, there should be consistency in how we do handle it. So it's not that if you're not... Well, anyway, see ya. Oh, man, sometimes.
Great outro. No, he means everyone, thanks for watching. And
Thanks for watching, yeah.
YouTube, drop a like and stuff. And
yeah, do stuff.
write something in the comments below. If you still have questions, we'll answer them there.
And see you on Monday.
Stuff like that, right?
And
see you on Monday for the Precipice of Dreams.
8:30 Central European Time. Bang.
We're going to start out with combat.
Yeah, we are.
We had some minor problems.
Yes, we're going on.
Anyway,
see ya. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.